the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable.
That they wanted their voices to be heard.
I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because
better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about where we are.
Where are we? Where are we here?
A year ago, we were hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths.
Every time he has a chance to praise the previous administration, he not only doesn't praise, he kicks them in the groin.
A sturdy groin is the linchpin of victory. Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Thematically, the most important thing out of this for me was him selling the good that he believes government can do.
Nauseating, isn't it?
And that, to me, is probably the biggest theme of this speech.
Well, I'm glad you're focused on the important business.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr. You're listening to...
I think, is it premature for me to issue an open invitation to everyone to come by my house on Independence Day? We're going to have a big kegger, barbecue. We're going to have ribs, steaks, burgers, hot dogs, kielbasa, potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad. We're going to have everything. If Joe Biden thinks that he's going to tell me, or you for that matter, how many people we're going to have over for the 4th of July, I know he only goes when he only comes out of the basement at the White House long enough to go to Wilmington, Delaware, to his own basement. But does he understand that huge swaths of this country are running wide open, and that nobody's dying, and that people aren't going to accept this BS anymore? God, I didn't watch it, but I monitored it. Let me put it that way. And apparently very few people saw it. They had a YouTube channel up from the White House. They got a whopping 7,000 people watching it. 7,000 people. I mean, I know that there were more people watching it on the networks and cable, but still 7,000 on online. Yikes. 844-500-4242. Let's play the 4th of July party here. Let's play this. I mean, talk about and the mainstream media trying to portray this as government's good, and that's what he's telling people. That's not the vibe I get of government being good when they're going to tell me how many people I can have over for the 4th of July, any more than having Charlie Parker at Thanksgiving have his spies out checking out to make sure you don't buy a turkey over 12 pounds at Stop and Shop or Market Basket. Forget about it. That's not what all I ask of the government is to be left alone. Get your hands out of my wallet, out of my pocket. Get out of the kitchen, get out of the bedroom, get out of my front yard, get out of everywhere. I don't want to see you. I'll pay my taxes what I owe, but don't bother me. And I think I speak for most Americans. Okay, here's cut 12.
If we do all this, if we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout and a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together.
That doesn't mean you go to a large party like the one Marty Walsh went to at the wedding down in Weymouth in the summer. Doesn't mean it's as large as Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito's kegger after her niece and nephew graduated, and they had the big time, the big party on the shores of Lake Quinsigamond. No, it'll be a dreary, bleak gathering like everything else for the last year. But if you want to have like if you want to have two or three people over for, get 2 or 3 Budweiser beers and you can split them up and maybe get a Vienna sausage, something like that. Oh, it'll be a lot of fun, and a bag of Ruffles have ridges. It'll be great. But you have to pay attention to what Saint Anthony is saying. Cut 13.
So my message to you is this. Listen to Dr. Fauci, one of the most distinguished and trusted voices in the world.
Listen to Dr. Fauci. Okay, let's listen to Dr. Fauci, because he will tell us how we can have our party on Independence Day. Cut 14.
People should not be walking around with masks.
You should wear the mask indoors. There's nothing wrong with people wearing 2 masks. I often myself wear 2 masks. Maybe I should put 2 masks on. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's no data that indicates that is going to make a difference.
Oh, and by the way, if you're gay and you want to go to some one of those gay blind dating websites, feel free to do so. That's okay. He said that, It's a deadly disease, but there are other deadly diseases too. But that's okay as long as you're a member of a protected group, politically protected, not disease protected. 844-500-4242. There was a recurring theme in the addresses, and it was truth. That's the English word for veritas, the motto of Harvard University. Truth. It was like I felt like I was back in the 1960s watching Bud Collyer on a CBS Monday night game show called To Tell the Truth. He kept quoting this woman. I saw a woman in Philadelphia, and I said, what do you want? She said, I just want you to tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. And Joe's so far gone. His name is Dementia Joe, after all. He didn't realize that actually what she was saying was, Joe, stop lying. That's what that meant. To tell the truth. Supercut.
You don't know how to tell the truth. Tell the truth. I just want the truth. The truth. Just tell me the truth. Nothing less than the truth. Here is the truth. I'll tell you the truth. To tell you the truth.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
844-500-4242. They told us they said all they needed was 15 days to flatten the curve. Then they said all you had to do was wear the mask for a while. Then they said just give us some ventilators, bring in a couple of hospital ships, and give us the federal government so we have enough beds in the intensive care units. And they keep moving the goalposts, and then the goalpost became the vaccinations, right? Well, now the vaccinations have been moved. Now that's not the end. That's not the end. You got to remember that. Okay. Cut 11.
In the coming weeks, we will issue further guidance on what you can and cannot do once fully vaccinated to lessen the confusion, to keep people safe, and encourage more people to get vaccinated.
Here's how I'm going to lessen the confusion, Dementia Joe. I'm going to do whatever the hell I damn well please. I got that card. I got the 2 vaccinations. It says CDC on it. It's not like an illegal alien's driver's license. It's the real thing. So I'm going to do what I want. And people in at least 19 states are doing exactly what they want. Many of the other states are relaxing the lockdowns. The scam is over. You want it to continue. You want the grift to continue, but it's over, pal.
Are you bringing that card with you back to Massachusetts?
Damn straight.
All right, I'll make sure the copy machine's ready. I'm going to need one too.
Do you think they would? Do you think my double vaccination CDC card is more valuable now these days than an honest Howie's carbon credit?
Whoa, you're going to charge me for it?
Maybe I shouldn't sell it. That might be a crime to sell the card, but how about if I threw it in as a bonus? For every $1,000 in Honest Howie's carbon credits that you receive, instead of an autograph letter from a polar bear on an ice floe in the Arctic Ocean, you will get a certified CDC double vaccination card.
You can rent it out.
I could. Hey, 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Let's play one more Joe Biden cut here of screwing things up. Cut 8.
And the more people are fully vaccinated, the CD will continue to provide additional guidance on what you can do in the workplace, places of worship with your friends, as well as travel.
We're gonna get some documents from the CD. You'll have a choice when I come back. We'll have documents from the CDC and from Joe Biden's favorite government agency, the CD.
Are these guidances being released on CD? Can I get them on cassette?
Yeah, you can get them on 8-track.
Is there going to be a digital download? Okay,
you can get them on 8-track. They will be available sometime to light. Probably after 7:00 to light. 844-500-4242. We'll take some calls here when we come back. Last summer, I had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but was reminded of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you, too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city for any number of reasons. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire. Right off the interstate highway, parking is free, parking is plentiful. When I got there, I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. And actually, some of the new protocols make it easier and more pleasant to have your teeth examined, treated, cleaned, etc. It's unbelievable how much better it is now. To see for yourself and to get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can neglect a lot of things during this time, but don't neglect your teeth. You'll pay a heavy price later in more ways than one. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
The paper boy with a big microphone. Howie Carr.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not. You say he lives on. I'm not alive. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety.
And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and me, I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I could be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and
where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it.
Right here is the official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony! Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh my.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Howie Carr is back.
Trump did nothing for months. That was one of his big things. Play that cut when we come before we go any further. We'll go over the lies here in this segment, and we'll do the poll question. Cut 2 there. Trump did nothing for months.
Hold on, computers.
Okay, hold on. We'll do the poll question, then the computer's acting up back in Boston. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm and Air Purifier 3-pack. Just for our listeners, save $200 on the 3-pack. To order, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Will the size of your July 4th backyard barbecue be dictated by Joe Biden?
Obviously, the answer is a big fat N-O, no.
Not so obvious to everyone. 8% say yes. They will let him decide how many people they can have at their Independence Day gathering. Right.
Yeah, the size of your Independence Day party is dependent on some senile old fart who can't even barely walk to the podium by himself.
Ready to go now.
All right, here's cut 2.
A year ago, we were hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths, more infections, more stress, and more loneliness.
Remember, President Trump cut off air flights from China to stop this on January 31st. And Joe Biden or his handlers tweeted out that this was an example of xenophobia. Nancy Pelosi said you should still go to Chinatown. Bill de Blasio said you should still go to Chinatown. Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston, and his would-be successor, Michelle Wu, went to Chinatown here in Boston and said the same thing. But somehow Trump did nothing. And then here's another lie. Cut 3.
Vicious hate crimes against Asian Americans who've been attacked, harassed, blamed, and scapegoated.
And who did that, Joe? That was done in San Francisco, Oakland, New York City. Were those the same people who attacked Jussie Smollett? who attacked the Asian. I'm not saying they weren't attacked, but I don't think you can really blame that on Donald Trump. I think those were some of the people who may have voted for you if they lived in states where felons were allowed to vote, that is. 844-500-4242. I don't know if we've got this one here, but they're talking about how the people who died, husbands, wives, sons and daughters, grandparents, friends, neighbors, young and old. Actually, there weren't very many young people that have died, Joe. Very, very, very few. But you just threw it in there, just like you throw in about, make it sound like Trump supporters attacked the Asian Americans and that you weren't the one who was dragging his feet along with the rest of the Democrat Party. But but you can trust the government now. Trust the government now. Joe went out there and lied, but you can trust them when they say they're from the government and they're here to help you. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Howie, if I invite a bunch of illegal immigrants over, do I have to share my hot dogs with them? I don't understand. I have to share my check with the marathon bomber, and now I got to share my hot dogs with illegal immigrants. Thanks, Howie.
Thank you, Steve. There were, if you want, you can invite as many illegal aliens over to your barbecue in the backyard as you wish on the 4th of July. If you go into those illegal alien communities, though, you don't see too many American flags flying on the 4th of July. There are a lot of firecrackers, although maybe it could be drive-by shootings, but there's a lot of them. 844-500-4242. Cam, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Cam.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
I have some information about the anti-white brainwashing curriculums.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Cam. Pat, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Pat.
Hey, Howie, I was thinking about something. I wanted to mention it to you. When President Trump was in office, he sent that big military hospital ship down to New York. I
Yes.
think it had a capacity of like 1,000 beds.
Correct.
And if you remember at that time, in the height, it only got to maybe 5% capacity. It was
Right.
never used. It was basically empty.
Right.
So why would Cuomo be sending all of these elderly back into the nursing homes instead of using that ship that was at his disposal? And Charlie Parker did the same thing
I
at
know.
the field hospital in Worcester at the VCU Center.
I know, and we got the Herald actually got the document when they started moving COVID-19 patients into the nursing home in Lowell. And the rest of the media didn't seem interested in it, even though we had the actual document of showing it. And it wasn't just the hospital boat that was set up on the Hudson that could have taken in hundreds, if not more than 1,000 COVID-19 patients. They also set up a field hospital in the Javits Center, so that they had at least two huge field hospitals that they never used, and they just sent everybody back into the nursing homes. There was a really good line in the New York Magazine piece about Cuomo, and it said the same mindset that allows somebody who's over 60 years old to sexually harass a 25-year-old junior female staffer is the same mindset that doesn't mind totally falsifying all these nursing home statistics to try to cover up their mismanagement of the entire COVID-19 pandemic. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
If you're thinking about a new RV this year, I've got 2 words of advice for you. Buy early. This is Howie Carr. With the popularity of camping growing and manufacturers' constraints, the earlier you shop, the better. Our friends at Cold Springs RV are ready for you. They have an indoor heated showroom and heated units outside for winter browsing. They are also ready to sell your current RV on consignment. Learn more at coldspringsrv.com or visit Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire.
Howie, have you ever heard the expression, if there's a nip in the air, the Irish will drink it?
No, but that does sound reasonable considering my Irish heritage.
Well, Howie, I have a big announcement. After 100 years, McConnell's Irish whiskey is returning to the U.S. Having left because of Prohibition, McConnell's is making its comeback for a new generation of whiskey enthusiasts.
I'll drink to that.
McConnell's Irish whiskey is the comeback spirit. When you take your first sip, You'll know some things are just worth the wait. Slancha.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first Kinnick in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man. Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator.
I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday.
I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon.
We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. Cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We have some visitors here in the studio today from New Hampshire, and apparently they didn't get the message that you can't go anywhere or even leave your house until Joe Biden personally approves it. Who did he think he was talking to last night? Does he?
How dare you?
We're not North Korea yet, okay?
He was talking to the sheeple.
The sheeple, exactly.
By the way, Howie, your July 4th party sounds awesome.
I think you know where. I think you know where it's located, Grace.
I do. I know exactly where it is. It's a good spot you got there.
Margo,
I'm going to have to ask the mailroom manager if we can really throw a ripper. Maybe get a keg.
Oh, it may have to be It may have to be a couple of kegs, and again, we'll need multiple barbecue pits. Maybe a clam bake too, because we're not that far from the beach, Grace.
I know. That's pretty wild. Like, I keep saying this, but they've made a party boy out of Howie Carr. It's spite parties.
Exactly. I don't know if we could get the jets to fly over, but maybe we could get like a one of those banner planes to fly out of Hyannis for the party.
Did he say anything about sparklers?
Yeah, I heard you mention sparkler. That's a good point. Sparklers, sometimes one of the little embers can come back and burn you. And, Dr. Fauci has warned against that.
I don't think you can even get those in Massachusetts, can you?
Well, my question is, how does the virus feel? How does the virus feel about the sparklers?
That's a good point. Are the sparklers working against the virus, or are they allied with the virus?
See how these are the questions we need answers to. And by the way, speaking of things that don't make any sense, did you see that Antifa was trying to bust into and burn the courthouse in Portland?
Again?
Yeah, there were stories of it last night, but I have good news, which is it happened at night. And according to Merrick Garland, or as Claire McCaskill likes to call him, Garland Merrick, it doesn't count if it's at night. So we're all good.
That's right. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that wonderful statement that he made. You're right. It's not even a misdemeanor, is it? It just doesn't count.
It's like the curfew with the virus. No one can explain this.
207 says that sparklers are to be avoided because they might set your paper face mask on fire.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Now, but on the other hand, you could get an asbestos face mask, but then that leads to other problems, as we all know.
There's so many issues. Hey, Howie, I have a statement here from Vox. It was a little excerpt from one of their columns, and this guy I follow put it out there, but I have to read you this because you're never going to believe whose fault it is that Biden won't hold press conferences. This is one of the most astounding statements I've ever seen. Even for the mainstream media, this is really bad, okay?
Donald Trump?
Oh, well, of course. That was a rhetorical question. I knew you knew the answer. While he's answered questions from reporters in informal settings numerous times and held a CNN town hall, Biden has now gone 50 days without holding a formal news conference. It'd be ideal for him to do one, but there are many good reasons he hasn't yet. The urgent public health and economic crises he inherited, a pandemic that complicates logistics, and the legacy former President Donald Trump left of presidential news conferences doubling as hate spectacles.
Wow, I hadn't thought of that.
They're really stretching lately to, cover for Joe Biden.
Hate spectacles.
It's quite sad.
As opposed to a hate fest.
Right. Two different things.
Or a hate binge. A hate spectacle. All right.
And of course, Howie, I know this is an issue near and dear to your heart, so I wanted to bring it up. Daylight saving time bill reintroduced and pushed to end antiquated practice. I talked a little bit about this today. I'm all for ending it, but I've never talked to anyone who's super pro daylight saving. So I don't know if I'm missing the other side.
I like daylight savings time.
You like it?
So keeping daylight savings all year round means there's no time change.
Yeah, I think, Grace, you may be confused. I think you were confused in your whole poll question today.
I'm very confused now. I'm only realizing it a couple hours too late, though.
The bill that's been introduced would end Eastern Standard Time and put daylight savings time in year-round.
So which one gets me more sunlight?
I think it's daylight savings.
Okay, cool. Then I'm down for that.
So
isn't that just
all the stuff you've been talking about for the last 3 hours on your show, never mind.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone here who's been listening to it and said nothing the entire time.
How many press conferences were in my ear today?
So appreciated. Thank you to everyone.
Talk
what
to
a
your
team.
producer.
Yikes. At least it was just the poll question.
Spring forward, fall back.
I'm falling back today.
Taylor doesn't want anything to do with it because he gets confused by those four
I
words.
don't get confused by it.
Well,
My sleep cycle gets confused.
I would make fun of you, but clearly I get confused easily. All right, moving on. Biden White House won't join Democrats deserting Governor Cuomo. This is a strange take because usually Biden and his administration is quick to kind of jump on the bandwagon with people, but they're really holding out for Andy Cuomo.
I can give you a 2-word explanation of why they're not joining the lynch mob against Cuomo.
Why is that?
Tara Reid.
Oh, yeah. That's actually really, really a good point. I know, Tara Reid, and you don't hear much about her anymore.
What Biden is accused of by Tara Reid is worse than anything any of these people have said. I mean, as boorish and as crude and as rotten as Andrew Cuomo behaves, Joe Biden, if you believe Tara Reid, was worse.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. And I do believe Tara Reid because she seemed very credible. And when she came forward, it was still part of the movement of Believe All Women, which has recently kind of taken a step back. Howie, I wanted to play a little bit of sound here, if you don't mind. I find this Cuomo stuff to be amazing. I know that you've read the piece at this point from New York Magazine. Howie, I know this piece isn't the most damaging out of all of them, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it kind of like weaves everything together too, and that this goes back a very long way with Cuomo, and that he is just one thing that really that I don't like about the piece is the woman is the writer is trying to make him seem as terrible as possible, and being as she's a writer for New York Magazine, the way she can make him the worst possible human being ever to live is to say he's the Democrat twin to guess who? Donald Trump.
No, they don't get to do that now because he was a foil just a couple months ago. And now he's a twin. Give me a break.
No, they're twins. They're the flip side. There's a quote in there that says the only difference between the two of them is that Fred Trump is Donald Trump's father and Mario Cuomo is Andrew Cuomo's father.
Wowzers. Well, let's play some of the sound from Cuomo. This is from his press conference today, Taylor, when he was on the phone. And Taylor, you've been able to listen to it more than I have. So just play whatever you think is a good sound. I know that one where he talks about women having motivations for accusing him of things is pretty good.
I won't speculate about people's possible motives, but I can tell you as a former attorney general who's gone through this situation many times, there are often many motivations for making an allegation.
Like you have to be an attorney general to understand why some woman might be angry about some guy treating her like a piece of crap.
Howie, I know he doesn't like comparisons to The Godfather unless he's, sitting with Dr. Fauci and, talking a big game. But when he's saying that line, you can almost hear like, dun, 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 dun. It sounds like he's threatening the people on the phone call. Like, I know
play cut 28, Jared. Taylor. Play cut 28. This is the guy. He's the ultimate beneficiary of white privilege and political dynasties. But of course, he denies everything. Cut 28.
Let the review proceed. I'm not going to resign. I was not elected by the politicians. I was elected by the people. Part of this is that I am not part of the political club. And you know what? I'm proud of it.
That's interesting.
But like moments later, he says that he's been in the public eye for 40 years, starting with, heading up his father's campaign.
Right. Cuomo?
The people of the state, look, they have known me for 40 years. They elected me attorney general. They elected me governor 3 times. I have been in the public eye my entire life. My entire life, I have been under public scrutiny since I was 23 years old and ran my father's campaign.
Yeah, when I think Washington outsider or political outsider, I think Andrew Cuomo. He's a real renegade.
Can I play my most favorite cut from the day?
Of course.
Serious allegations should be weighed seriously, right? That's why they are called serious.
Oh my gosh, he's so condescending.
He's as stupid as Fredo Cuomo. I never knew that.
Well, he keeps saying,
sometimes it is better to remain silent and be thought a fool or a bore than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt.
Yellow is called yellow because it's bright, and that's why they call it yellow.
well, it's crazy because he said before, my lawyers told me not to come out here and talk to you guys. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, because they know what you're going to do. If this is what they thought you were going to do, they were right. You should not come out. And he just keeps digging and digging. Howie, a side note before I leave you here, University of Pennsylvania final exam requires nursing students to ask imaginary patients their preferred pronouns. Hence, and somebody commented beneath it.
Just give me a pill. I'm in pain.
That was literally the
Ask me
comment
about my pronouns after I get a pill.
Someone wrote, entering the emergency room, gushing blood. Nurse, but what is your preferred pronoun? Really is wacky. All right, guys, I will be back later for Police Blotter Facts Friday. Don't miss it. We have tons of stories.
See, I'm the only one who remembers this, but there's some people listening to us who remember this. Kevin White's last term, his last run for mayor in 1979. He was the loner in love with the shitty. The loner in love with the shitty of Boston. And now that's what Andrew Cuomo is. He's not a political insider. Just because his father was the governor for 3 terms and he named the bridge, the biggest bridge coming into the city from the north after his father. And his brother has a piss poor TV show on CNN. But he's not and he's married into the Kennedy family. But he's not a political insider.
And Howie, honestly, it would be less painful if Fredo had a show. I mean, not that there's many like this, but if he had more of a Rachel Maddow show where he was just going over stories and kind of reading from a script. But his whole show is him delivering these virtue signaling monologues about how bad Republicans are and how evil they are. And it was painful in the beginning, but now watching it, it's laughable. Like looking at him and he looks, he does that look into the camera. Like he's so sincere and he's so appalled with Republicans. And I just keep thinking to myself, we're supposed to take advice from you?
I exactly, Grace. Well put.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Grace. Now, what are you going to do with the clocks on Saturday?
It depends. It depends how I'm feeling. Put it out to a poll. I mean, just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean I have to do it.
Okay, Grace.
It's like if someone told you to jump off the Cuomo Bridge, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't. As much as I like that bridge, or I like the old bridge. The new bridge, you don't have to jump off.
Structural integrity of that bridge.
Yeah, you don't have to jump. Just stand there and you'll be in the water fairly soon, apparently, according to all the news stories I'm reading. All right. Thank you, Grace. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hotels, vets, and dentists all have purchased multiple units of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, which is why Eden Pure has done it again. For the first time ever, for our listeners only, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier 3-pack. You'll get 3 units. I only got 2 in my hands because I only got 2 hands. 3 units for under $200 and save $200. 1 for your basement, first floor, and second floor, all in one purchase. You've heard Dr. Matt on my show. He had 1 Thunderstorm, couldn't believe how effective it was. So he bought 2 more for his clinic. He also got 1 for his son's stinky cat. If you have enough, you can give a Thunderstorm to a loved one as a gift. With the 3-pack, you can now enjoy clean air everywhere in your house or workplace. It's been months that we've been talking about the Thunderstorm Air Purifier. People still ask me if it really works. Not only does it really work, it works in hours. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier is so small and light that you can hold it in your hand and plug it right into the wall. The best part is you don't have to replace any air filters, which of course saves you time and money. Other air purifiers can cost up to $600 for just one unit. The Eden Pure air purifier can handle pet, kitchen, or tobacco odors or that damp smell lingering in your basement. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3 to save $200 on their special 3-pack. EdenPure.com, code word Howie3. This special is for 1 week only. It's ending. If you want to get this great deal, act now. I'm Howie Carr.
A nightmare to liberals everywhere. He's Howie Carr.
And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend, I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Come on, give me a break, man.
Say what you will about him.
He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
He's Howie Carr, and he's here to stay.
Politicians who don't know a single fact, but yet form a conclusion and an opinion are, in my opinion, reckless and dangerous.
Are you referring to Congressman Nadler, the latest member of the House of Representatives, to call for your resignation? He's so distraught by these allegations against you, Governor, that he had 4 hot dogs for his midnight snack last night instead of his usual 3. I'm playing to the audience here today. It's one thing about going back and doing the VIPs again is I like playing to an audience, even if it's only a couple of people and I'm here in the dark. 844-500-4242. There's a good text here, 619. So basically, there are two Fredos in that family and not one Michael and a Fredo. That's a really good way to put it. He puts, geez. Yeah, I think that's what we're learning here. Speaking of Fredos, we've got Fredo Biden. We'll have some more cuts from him. We played just some of his goofy stuff from last night, but we've got some new stuff. I would say this new stuff is looks pretty humorous, Taylor, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was only able to grab a few before we came on the air, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Standing out there in the sunlight, glare off of teleprompters. Yeah, it's going to get Sleepy Joe in trouble.
Bring the dogs back to the White House. That could be the shiny object to distract the low IQ media. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just wondering, Howie, did the Washington Post, New York Times, or any other left-wing newspaper fact check Joe Biden's claim that President Trump didn't do anything for the first few months?
Actually, though, Joe, there was a kind of a tepid piece in the New York Times yesterday saying that Trump had to get some of the credit, and they were saying, of course, Trump doesn't want to give any credit to Biden, and Biden understandably doesn't want to give any credit to Trump. But they did mention it sort of in passing. But I mean, the whole speech was just nonsense. And I remember when Carter delivered that address about the national malaise, and I was driving back from Maine to Massachusetts when he gave that speech, and I just kept thinking, what a mess we're in when the president is blaming the country for the national malaise that his horrible, misguided policies have created. That was the vibe I was getting from this speech last night. We're back to the Carter days, 40 years down the road. I'm Howie Carr.
There are two things for which New England is known. Wicked awesome windows and doors, courtesy of Matthews Brothers, and the very patient Captain Dave Marciano, advocate for the ocean, displayer of tattoos, and all-around wicked awesome fisherman. And just like Matthews Brothers is a family business, so are the Marcianos. In fact, now that they've become America's favorite family, some people have started calling them the Ozzie and Harriet of the fisheries. So in order to give our listeners an opportunity to spend some quality time with a genuine New England B-list celebrity, Matthews Brothers has given away 6 trips for 2 people to go fishing with this legendary fishing family. You have to play to win, so just go to our website for all the details. No purchase is necessary, and no salespeople will call you except good old Ralph from Bangalore about your car's warranty, but obviously we at Matthews Brothers have no control over that, or we wouldn't get them too. Remember, you can learn more about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. That's Matthews Brothers with 1 T, America's oldest window manufacturer. Tattoos option.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the jurisdiction.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
We give me a coffee too when you get a chance. No rush, but
is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it.
Oh no, that's it. They finally got it up and running again.
The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just saying.
Hitler was a Christian.
Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman. Did you have tanning lotion on?
A little, I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin. I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
Oh, thank you.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I may not make it through this story. And I told a story about a fisherman that I met in New Bedford. He's coming off the boat. He's a big, huge man, completely soaked in sweat and salt water.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he started to cry, and I gave him a hug. He was a big, huge guy. It was like hugging a mountain. And then he said, "See those two kids up there?" And he said, "Those are my sons." They were both spectacular football players at New Bedford High School who were given college scholarships, and I ruined their lives. And you hear those kinds of stories every day.
And they are the only friends Charlie Baker has.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. Little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and me, I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I can be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, and grandparents who are no longer with us. I think it's up to 30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people.
Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people.
210,000 people have died.
4 million existing billion. 500,000. 50,000.
A class of 25. You end
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about where we are.
Where are we? Where are we here?
A year ago, we were hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths.
Every time he has a chance to praise the previous administration, he not only doesn't praise, he kicks them in the groin.
A sturdy groin is the linchpin of victory. Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Thematically, the most important thing out of this for me was him selling the good that he believes government can do.
Nauseating, isn't it?
And that to me is probably the biggest theme of this speech.
Well, I'm glad you're focused on the important business.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
This is how bad it is for Andrew Cuomo. Maggie Haberman from the New York Times is ripping him during his phone press conference. How bad is it for Big Fredo as opposed to Little Fredo Cuomo? Last hour, we were talking about a New York magazine story about all the women and all the people he's harassed over the years. Now, this hour, ex-Albany reporter Jessica Bakeman is seventh woman to accuse Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment. She apparently wrote a sidebar to the main story about how she was harassed. She's a former State House reporter, detailing on Friday instances of unwanted touching and humiliating comments she endured while covering his administration. So we'll get to all that. But, you know, he's only the governor of the Empire State of New York. We have the president of the United States to deal with. And he delivered a very dark speech. As a texter just pointed out, they talked about how Trump's inaugural speech was so dark. That was the adjective du jour. But that speech last night was much darker than the inaugural speech of President Trump. But so today he was out and about again. He was in the Rose Garden, Taylor. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So
praising all the progress on the rescue plan.
Or as he called it last week, the rescue pan. To the CD, not the CDC, the CD. And maybe he'll have more to say about that at Too Light, which is the way he says tonight. But anyway, we've got some cuts here. Let's start with cut 46 when he's talking about the American Rescue Pan, as he calls it.
It's going to help 11 million Americans who were days from losing that benefit. This legislation includes the biggest investment in child care since World War II.
Okay, So he talks about the COVID relief that Trump had, and remember, there's I think maybe $1 trillion that's left unspent from the last so-called bailout plan from the Trump administration. So here's Biden talking about.
You're going to have to follow the bouncing ball in this one.
Really? Okay. I'm not transcribing here. I'm not writing a column for Sunday about this, so I can just kind of sit back and enjoy it, though, right?
Sure.
Okay.
The first time around, you all worked and did a great piece of work in the House, passing significant legislation. What's the first thing the last president did? He fired the folks who were supposed to watch and make sure it got, in fact, distributed the way it was supposed to. We find out so much of it went to people who didn't need it. You all took care of that.
So much of it went to people who didn't need it, as opposed to this new package where Sarniev is going to get $1,400. Everybody in the federal prisons, the state prisons, the local lockups is going to get $1,400. All the illegal aliens are going to get $1,400. They really need it, the illegal aliens. Okay, cut 48.
I know from experience, and the president turned to me like I haven't done to the vice president yet and said, take care of it. You take care of implementing the plan. But she could do it. But I remember being given the dubious distinction of having to implement the Recovery Act back when we came into office, Brock and I.
That's the Recovery Act that he said at various times is either $80 billion or $800 billion. So Obama used to turn to me like I don't do to Kamala Harris. Is that that's what he said?
That is what he said, yes.
Let's hear the beginning of that. Just go to that part of it.
I know from experience, and the president turned to me like I haven't done to the vice president yet and said, take care of it. You take care of implementing the plan.
Okay. You know, there's nothing better than hearing the national Grandpa Simpson talk about his Grandpa Simpson. Here it is, cut 49.
And as my grandfather used to kiddingly say, with the grace of God, the good little neighbors and the creek not rising. That's exactly what we're going to do.
And the crick not rising. I thought he came of humble Irish roots and ancestry, and now he's got his grandfather talking like he's a hillbilly. The crick don't rise. They ain't rising. Cut 50.
Is here for them. Almost every single aspect would be significant, if you took this bill and broke it into all the pieces.
Reese's Pieces? Okay. Cut 51.
The theory was cut taxes and those at the top, and the benefits they get will trickle down to everyone. Well, you saw what trickle down does. We've known it for a long time, but this is the first time we've been able to, since the Johnson administration, and maybe even before that, to begin to change the paradigm.
How'd the Johnson administration work out, Joe? Guns and butter. Then we didn't have either guns or butter. It was not we had the war on poverty. The war on poverty is over. Poverty won. We had the Great Society, which made the society not so great. Yeah, that was a great moment, the Lyndon Johnson administration. How long have you been around, Joe? Cut 52.
As we look, one of the things that I've been most worried about, and I think you all have too, especially those of us that have been around for 100 years like me, is you've watched people lose confidence in government.
Wait a second. I thought he'd been in the Senate for 180 years. Now it's down to 100 years. Can you clarify this, Mr. President, Mr. Dementia Joe, cut 45?
And, I served a long time in the United States Senate, longer than anybody if I was still there at the time other than Pat. If I were still in the Senate, I'd be Senator pro tem because I was 2 years ahead of Pat. But all kidding aside.
All kidding aside. All kidding aside. As Rod Stewart would say, two lights, the light. 844-500-4242. Cut 54.
Wish I could come out and shake hands with every one of you. But next time, it won't be so far apart.
I wish I could go out there and sniff everybody's hair, or at least all the women's hair. Cut 53. Might as well get them all done.
And when we do something right, we're going to make a case for it. And when I make a mistake, I'm going to own up to it and say, it was me. I made a mistake.
What happened when you grabbed Tara Reid, Joe? What did you do when you grabbed Tara Reid? I made a mistake. We'll have that ready. We'll have to break that one down. I made a mistake. I think that'll be a recurring sound cut. The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate built up over years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. It's because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. Some sectors are at all-time highs, like in the residential property in the top suburbs and on Cape Cod. Others are losing ground. Think commercial, think retail. Don't wait until Joe Biden destroys this sector of the economy too before you cash out. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you could be the next one. Call them today at 1-800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's debonair, he's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Apex Entertainment Center in Marlborough, Mass. Apex is now open 100%. Enjoy laser tag, bowling, miniature golf, and so much more.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I got a text message the other day from a friend of mine who is no fan of most of what I've done over the course of the past 10 months.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panicked porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power, and the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine. And he got it at an event where no one wore masks. And he said, now that I have it, I get how brutal this can be.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world, but it's the only world they know.
And honestly, I'm scared to death, not just for me, but for my family.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was. There's a lot at stake here. This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected. Respect the virus. I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again. We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that. I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned. The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
He'll regret it to his dying day, if ever he lives that long.
Howie Carr is back.
844-500-4242. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier 3-pack. Just for our listeners, save $200 on the 3-pack. To order, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Will the size of your July 4th backyard barbecue be dictated by Joe Biden?
No.
Did Karen Polito vote in this one? 92% say no.
Oh, it's just what a jerk he was when he was saying that, as if anybody cares. And he I don't think he knows that a lot of these states, huge swaths of the country, are wide open, and that the people who are trapped in these Stalinist states like Massachusetts and New York are just dying to get out and breathe free. They want to escape just like the East Germans did before the end of the Cold War. 844-500-4242. Well, I want to, before we move on to Cuomo, I just want to play the just one more, a couple of the Fauci, or a couple of the Biden cuts. Cut 13.
So my message to you is this. Listen to Dr. Fauci, one of the most distinguished and trusted voices in the world.
Listen to Dr. Fauci. Take his advice. Here's some of his advice. Cut 14.
People should not be walking around with masks. You should wear the mask indoors. There's nothing wrong with people wearing 2 masks. I often myself wear 2 masks. Maybe I should put 2 masks on. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's no data that indicates that that is going to make a difference.
So Peter Doocy asked Jen Psaki today, the girl with the gasoline hair and the Valley Girl accent, why didn't Dementia Joe give some credit for warp speed to the previous occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Cut 20.
But on the development of the vaccines, it was Operation Warp Speed that was invented, executed, initiated under the former president. So in the spirit of bipartisanship and unity last night, as opposed to the first comments, which spoke about the denials in the first days, weeks, and months, why not just say, with credit to the previous administration and the former president for putting us in this position, we are glad that we have been able to move it forward.
That is an excellent recommendation as a speechwriter, but the president has spoken to it in the past. He has applauded the work of medical experts and scientists and the prior administration. And what the purpose of last night's speech was to give an update on what his administration has been doing, what he has done since he took office, the progress that's been made, what the work is ahead, provide a light at the end of the tunnel, and ask Americans to engage in the process process and do what's needed to be done so we can get to those July 4th barbecues.
They really think that those July 4th barbecues, they're going to call the shots on the July 4th barbecues. They really think they hit a home run with that one, don't they? So Psaki was also asked if Cuomo should resign. And again, I think the reason that they're keeping a hands-off policy on this one is just because that Joe Biden has got this landmine called Tara Reid, that his former staffer that he raped, according to her account. And there probably is a complaint that she filed that's in his Senate papers at the University of Delaware. And that's why they won't release the Senate papers at the University of Delaware, so that reporters, or one or two reporters, could, because most reporters wouldn't want to upset the narrative of the Democrat Party, could look through and try to find that complaint. So should Cuomo resign just because, 30 women have now stepped forward and say that he harassed them or abused them? Cut 17.
My first question is simply this. Does the president believe the governor should resign?
The president believes that every woman who's come forward, there have now been 6, I believe,
7.
who have come forward, deserves to have her voice heard, should be treated with respect, and should be able to tell her story. There also is an independent investigation that is ongoing, of course, in the state with subpoena power overseen by the attorney general, and he certainly supports
Don't forget the Albany Police Department
We,
investigation.
of course, have watched the news of a number of lawmakers
Don't
call
forget the
for
feds
that, but
in
I don't have any
Brooklyn.
additional announcements from here.
She only mentioned 2 of the investigations. She only mentioned 1. She didn't even mention the legislative committee hearing. There's 4 investigations going on right now of Cuomo. So Chuck Schumer was asked about the latest, the latest, and I guess by the latest, when he was asked, that would have been the young woman who was brought up to the governor's mansion in Albany. And she says that he reached under her blouse and fondled her. This is Chuck Schumer, cut 43.
The allegations that have been brought forward against Cuomo are serious, so troubling, and should be looked at. The most recent one is just nauseating.
Is it worse than the allegations against your former aide, Carlos Danger? Is it worse than the allegations against your former ally, Eliot Spitzer, the former governor? Is it worse than the allegations against your former ally, the Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman? I guess he didn't have time to answer all those questions. 844-500-4242. Cuomo today in his press conference, or not his phone press conference, he's not going out and he's not giving him any video. He said that he issued a blanket denial of everything that's been reported. Everything. Cut 30.
There is still a question of the truth. I did not do what has been alleged. Period.
It would take an hour and a half to go through all that he has been alleged to have done. And that's just in the last couple of days. But one of the charges that this ex-reporter is making today is that he grabbed her and he took my hand as if to shake it, then refused to let go. He put his other arm around my back, his hand on my waist, and held me firmly in place while indicating to a photographer he wanted us to pose for a picture. We'll have his response when we come back, and we'll take your calls on this. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr. Maria's finest Italian restaurant in Portland, Maine is worth the trip for their amazing meatballs. I'm talking about the best meatballs I've ever had. Outstanding. Maria's is owned and operated by the chef with many specialties, including homemade pasta and sauce. Known for their eggplant parmesan and seasonal favorites like their ricotta cavatelli, you won't leave hungry. They're located at 1335 Congress Street, Portland, Maine. Check out their extensive menu at mariasrestaurant.com. Visit today and be part of the family. Nauset Beach Inn is open with a fireplace in each room. Take advantage of their ocean view room rate of only $100. Good until the end of April. All rooms have 2 queen beds and are pet friendly. Nauset Beach Inn is the only hotel on the Cape Cod National Seashore. Contact-free check-in and check-out. Don't hesitate. These rooms go fast. Reserve now at nausetbeachinn.com, and don't forget Vacation Week. That's nausetbeachinn.com.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator.
I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first Kinnick in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean,
Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior.
I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs.
Is that fake?
I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. So now Cuomo is a victim Okay, he's coming out against the cancel culture and the woke mob coming after him. Cut 27.
People know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth. People know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth.
Just because 30 women have stepped forward, that doesn't mean that I did anything wrong. I'm denying all the allegations. All those 30 women, I deny all the allegations against me. But again, here's, again, the woman, the reporter, the ex-reporter, she says he didn't really want to have sex with me. He just wanted to humiliate me and degrade me. And that's why that's why he grabbed me and had the picture taken with me. And so although he didn't do anything wrong, he's now admitting that maybe he did make people uncomfortable with the photos. Cut 32.
Is it possible that I have taken a picture with a person who, after the fact, says they were uncomfortable with the pose in the picture? Yes. And that's what you're hearing about.
I've taken a lot of pictures with a lot of people, and I don't think I've ever had anybody step forward, any woman or man for that matter, step forward and say that I was holding them against their will and forcing them to pose for a photograph with me.
But apparently it's a common occurrence with Andrew Cuomo, as he says in his next cut here.
Cut 33.
I have taken thousands of pictures.
Me too.
I never meant to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I never meant to make anyone feel awkward. There are times when I go to take a picture with a person and I can feel that they're standoffish or something, and I respect that.
And that's when I grab them. And I hold them and I order the photographer to take their pictures, whether they want them taken with me or not. Cut 34.
Yes, I apologized for people who I have taken pictures with and who after the fact said they were uncomfortable with that picture.
But I never did anything wrong. I've apologized for grabbing people and forcing them to take pictures with me. This story. Well, we'll take some calls and we'll go over this story. It's very lengthy story in the New York Magazine, but it's pretty interesting stuff. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Howie, I'm no fan of Cuomo, but a lot of women, when they smell blood in the water like this, become like piranha fish and say how uncomfortable they feel and how degraded.
But there's an awful lot of them, Steve. Awful lot.
Thing I'm a little bit worried about is, as bad as Cuomo is, we could get a governor in New York who is far worse. And there are a lot of people waiting to step into that role who would make Andrew Cuomo look like a conservative.
I know, but he's so bad. I just don't care. I think New York's doomed anyway. Now they're saying de Blasio would like to run because he smells blood in the water. And this woman, Kathy Hochul, she's a former congresswoman, one term from upstate. She's the lieutenant governor. She's going to step in. I was reading about her today. It sounds like she would try to hold on to the job. Letitia James, the attorney general, wants to run. I just want to see the guy brought down. I understand your argument from a practical point of view that there could be a worse person, but Cuomo is just such an obnoxious person, and he's been riding high, and he's been a bully for so long. I'd just like to see him dragged down personally. I don't want him to survive. Thanks for the call, Steve. I don't see how he can survive actually at this point. Mike, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks for taking my call, Howie. Just a quick statement. Andrew Cuomo, Al Franken, Harvey Weinstein, and the sniffer in the Oval Office, the greatest advocates for women's rights. And thank you, Pope Francis, for praying for open borders. Remind me not to pray to the same guy that you pray to. That's all I got to say.
Thanks for the call, Mike. 844-500-4242. You remember who led the charge against Al Franken, wanted him removed from the Senate? Kirsten Gillibrand, the U.S. Senator, the junior U.S. Senator from New York State. If you're shopping for groceries this weekend in New York State and you pick up a quart of milk, it's probably got Kirsten's face on it because she's missing. She's totally missing from all this that's going on. As one former Cuomo staffer told New York Magazine, the same attitude that emboldens you to target a 25-year-old also emboldens you to scrub a nursing home report. But that was an interesting case. This woman, Caitlin, that provides a lot of the information, she was hired after Cuomo saw her at some party, and she was good looking, so he decided to hire her. And so a few weeks after she'd gone to work for him, he rented out a bar for a Super Bowl party. And so at the Super Bowl party, she saw Cuomo talking in a back room to a young woman with a dove tattooed on her hand. At a staff meeting the next morning, Caitlin said Cuomo asked his aides to find the woman with the dove tattoo and to consider offering her a job. Caitlin described the uncanny realization that this was likely how it had gone the morning after she'd met him. And I guess he's just kind of a lecherous type guy. When she asked him if he wanted her personal cell phone number, quote, "I thought that was a normal thing to offer your boss," she said, but he believed as if she'd just come on to him. Like other women who have come forward, she remembered him asking questions about her dating life. Some of the younger female staffers were explicitly told by senior staff they had to wear heels whenever he was around. Another time, Caitlin, he has a problem with cell phones somehow, and she was trying to switch calls into him, and sometimes she'd lose a call as she transferred it. She recalled Cuomo once said, "You can't figure out the bleeping phones. I'm going to end your career. I'm going to end your career." 844-500-4242. And most of the time this was going on, he was living with this woman, Sandra Lee, whose semi-homemade brand began with a deal at the Miramax in 2016. But he was also screwing around when he was married to Carrie Kennedy. So he had this problem with Alessandra Biaggi, who is she worked for him briefly as an aide, and then she ran for the Senate, the state Senate in I guess Westchester County, basically. And so now she's one of his big critics. And so he saw her, and then decided that, he wanted to have her on the staff. And so she quickly had a falling out. She hated the guy, obviously, Alessandra Biaggi. And again, her grandfather was a hero cop in New York City. He ran as the Democrat candidate for mayor, I think in 69, maybe, against Lindsay. I think it was 69. And he was a congressman too from the Bronx, and he went to prison. He was involved in 2 bribery scandals and went to prison. And so after she ran against one of Cuomo's guys in the Senate and knocked him out, she got a call from him. This was in 2018. She got a call from his office telling her the governor wanted to see her. And so she brings 2 staffers with her because she doesn't trust him, but he says the staffers can't come in. And it's just him and this woman, Rosa, the one that confessed that they had cooked the books on the nursing home scandal. Biaggi said most of her conversation with Cuomo was natural and was normal and nice until the end, when his whole demeanor changed and he sat back in his chair, looked at me and said, "Tell me again how your grandfather's career ended." Mario Biaggi's career ended with a 26-month prison term for having accepted an illegal gratuity and obstructing justice. 30 years later, his granddaughter said that she stared at the governor of New York and willed herself not to freak out because he wants you to freak out. Biaggi felt sure that Cuomo had been conveying a threat, though its specific contours were confusing. What is he? That's the way a threat is supposed to be. You can read into it whatever you want. That's the best kind of threat, isn't it? I mean, it's not a pleasant thing to say, but it's reality. What is he telling me? That he's going to send me to prison? That he's so powerful he could end my career? Yikes. 844-500-4242. There's all this weird stuff too in here just about how it is in Albany. I mean, we think Beacon Hill is bad and the State House, but it's really sick in Albany. One of the people who's calling for his removal is an Asian assemblywoman from Manhattan. She's the first Asian woman who was ever elected in New York State, and she used to work for Ron Kim, the rep from Queens, who's been leading the charge against Cuomo. And so she was 27 when she got hired by Kim as his aide, and recalled an assembly member who approached her and Kim at a fundraiser and said, "I can't believe you guys haven't bleeped. I would bleep both of you, and I would pay to see you two bleep. I would pay to join in." This is a rep saying this to another rep and his aide, who is now a rep herself. So one more thing, we'll take some more calls when we come back. I mean, this is the sick world, the sick Democrat world that Andrew Cuomo flourished in and has dominated. And so this woman, Melissa DeRosa, she's the chief aide. She's kind of like the female version of Andrew Cuomo. And they've got pictures of her in the Daily Mail. He's got his hand on her thigh, or on her upper leg, shortly after her marriage in a restaurant in Manhattan. And and she's a newlywed at the time. So, and she's the one who admitted that they cooked the books on the nursing home scandals they said the people didn't die in nursing homes, or weren't infected in nursing homes when they were. And so last spring, into the massive state budget, Cuomo inserted an immunity provision for hospitals and nursing homes. The provision had been drafted by the Greater New York Hospital Association, an organization that in 2018 donated over $1 million to the New York State Democrat campaign, which funded Cuomo's reelection campaign, and was repped by, the Hospital Association was repped by Bolton St. John's, a powerful law firm where the chief lobbyist is Giorgio DeRosa, Melissa DeRosa's father. It's a small world, isn't it? In June, his aides were reportedly altering the nursing home documents in the same month that Charlotte Bennett alleges that Cuomo was asking her whether or not she had ever had sex with an older man. Nice fella, huh? 844-500-4242. I've been on Balance 7 for 2 weeks now, and I cannot believe my energy. I've been feeling so good that some days I go for 3 bike rides. That's on the weekend. Now you ask, what is Balance 7? Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. You'll feel better, and I personally sleep better. It also reduces acid reflux and heartburn. Often I'm asked to try products, and I could be very skeptical of claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I don't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wears on. By allowing me to sleep better at night, I have more mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body over time. All you do is drink a small shot of the liquid 3 times a day, and you will feel the difference. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, give Balance 7 a try. Balance 7 is made in America and has sold over 6 million units worldwide. Order any of the 1-month supply and put in code word Howie. You'll save $10 and get free shipping. That's balance7, the number 7.com, balance7.com. Code word Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him. He's not like the others.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble with some of the things I say. But I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, it goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs. Civilization as we know it is at stake. I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
The Howie Carr Show.
We still have some cheap bastard deals from Cape Gun Works, not the memberships, but we have some of the basic firearms license to carry class gift certificates. They're usually it usually costs $125. You can get a gift certificate for one for $62.50 at Cape Gun Works in Hyannis. And this you have to take a course like this before you get your permit from your local police department. So again, it's $125 value for $62.50. Go to HowieCarShow.com and click on store. Cheap bastard deal. Cape Gun Works basic firearms LTC class. Great place to take it. And also the weather's getting warmer, days getting longer, daylight savings time coming back. You need to get your car washed at some point after this messy winter. And we've got some great gift certificates to Pro Clean Auto Wash. They're all over the place. Chelmsford, Devens, Franklin, Marlboro, Millis, Pepperell, Randolph, Westboro, Westford, Worcester. And those are $25 for a $50 gift certificate to ProClean Auto Wash. And there's one near where you are, most likely. That's also available at HowieCarrShow.com. Click on store. Not many left of either, but get them now while the getting's good. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Howie, I just wanted to say something about the governor. I mean, is it me, or is he like one of those, hey, no doesn't mean no, no means try again in 20 minutes? I mean, like, seriously.
Yeah.
How much higher is this thing going to go?
I know. Somebody said they just got through taking their company's annual sexual harassment training course. And any of the things that are mentioned in the story would get somebody fired in the private sector, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. And I work for the government, and I would be long since had my bags packed and put on the curb for me.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how. I don't know. He's and then to come out there at this press conference today and say, I'm not in the club. If you weren't in the club, you never would have been able to survive, right? I mean, this is the ultimate status in the club, is being able to get away with harassing everybody you want to, and threatening and bullying male and female alike. Here's another story. This is when he was married to Kerry Kennedy. It wasn't the story of anything illegal, just an invasive and brash move made a few feet from where his then wife, Kerry Kennedy, was standing. The woman described to me how he'd learned her name before approaching her, how he'd taken hold of her hand and not let go. Again, there's that thing. He's holding on to her. He won't let her go. Had whispered close into her ear how he'd come on to her. Quote, it was clear when he grabbed me that he was used to taking what he wanted. And again, he worked for Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton gave him cigars. And he told one of the women about how he worked for Bill Clinton, and he mentioned the cigars. And I mean, what conclusion is anyone supposed to draw from mentioning Bill Clinton and cigars when you're by yourself in the room with this guy? 844-500-4242. 978. My liberal New York friends and are finally slamming the governor. I had a deer in the headlights look when they finally did. Yeah, I think he's all done. When Schumer and AOC, I mean, Schumer's worried about AOC running against him. He can't even stand by him. He's worried he'll be held against him. Probably will. I'm Howie Carr.
Hotels, vets, and dentists all have purchased multiple units of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, which is why Eden Pure has done it again for the first time ever.
Taylor, you see the thing from 508? It's not. You don't need to do it. I think Frank Sinatra should be doing riding high in April, shot down in May.
Oh, okay, sure.
Couldn't believe how effective it was. So he bought 2 more for his clinic. He also got 1 for his son's stinky cat. With the 3-pack, you can now enjoy clean air everywhere in your house or workplace. People still ask me if it really works. Not only does it really work, it works in hours. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier is so small and light that you can hold it in your hand and plug it right into the wall. The best part is you don't have to replace any air filters. Other air purifiers can cost up to $600 just for 1 unit. The Eden Pure air purifier can handle pet, kitchen, or tobacco odors, or that damp smell lingering in your basement. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3 to save $200 for their special 3-pack. EdenPure.com, code word Howie3. This special is 1 week only. Shipping is free.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take the job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can all see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little, I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs. Civilization as we know it is at stake. I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I can be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
Here's 1 minute of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There's a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the coronavirus. So,
only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say no. We're not going back to that.
I know it sounds banal. Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks. So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog.
So the whole premise of the Green New Deal is that we're screwed.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute of CNN's Don Lemon.
What do you say to those Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's bigotry?
I have a big announcement, and it's somewhere on my body.
Because the biggest purveyor of fake news is the president in this country, because he does it a lot.
I'm just going to speak from the heart here. What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the fact.
You thought I went hard in 2019. Watch 2020, baby. There's more to come. I'm a soldier. I'm ready to fight.
Talking about the cost of this parade and where there would be tanks, right? And would there be nuclear weapons? Americans, are you mad as hell? I wouldn't normally address this as a Journalist, I don't really like being the story here. Kanye West, entitled to his own opinion, but is not very bright and not very, when it comes, I'm talking about this issue, not overall. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about where we are.
Where are we? Where are we here?
A year ago, we were hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths.
Every time he has a chance to praise the previous administration, he not only doesn't praise, he kicks them in the groin.
A sturdy groin is the linchpin of victory. Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Thematically, the most important thing out of this for me was him selling the good that he believes government can do.
Nauseating, isn't it?
And that, to me, is probably the biggest theme of this speech.
Well, I'm glad you're focused on the important business.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. 727 says, people forget how much damage Cuomo did at HUD, forcing Fannie and Freddie to assume tens of thousands of subprime loans that ended up defaulting. Yeah, I think he was one of the leading perps. But all the Democrats were behind that. They all loved giving out those subprime mortgages and letting and then guaranteeing them all. The banks never gave out loans to people who couldn't pay them back for obvious reasons. But then the government stepped in and said, "Oh, this is we were redlining. You banks were redlining. So now you have to give out these loans to people who can't afford to pay them back." And so then they ran up a bubble in the real estate market, and they defaulted. The bubble crashed, and it almost brought down the entire economy in 2008, 2009. That's a very, very short version of what happened. But so it went from the banks were charged with redlining, not lending to blacks and other minorities because they were black and minorities. They didn't have good credit. They weren't lending to anybody that didn't have good credit for obvious reasons. So then when they started lending to everybody who didn't have good credit, and everything crashed and they lost the houses, the banks were then accused of predatory lending. So what were they redlining, or was it and not giving loans, or were they giving loans and it was predatory lending? And Cuomo was all mixed up in that. He's been involved in multiple disasters. The powerlineblog.com has just posted the famous the famous anti-gay attack on Ed Koch, then the mayor of New York, running for governor. Vote for Cuomo, not the H word. And supposedly Andrew Cuomo was behind that. No one's ever proven it, but it obviously benefited the Cuomo campaign when he was running for governor against the mayor of New York. Confirmed bachelor Ed Koch. Vote for Cuomo, not the. So when Cynthia Nixon was running against Cuomo in the 2018 New York Democrat primary, she's a lesbian. Her one of her mottos was, vote for the homo, not the Cuomo. Don't come down on me. That was her motto. She came up with that, turning it around on Randy Andy. Time now for the chump line.
"15 days to flatten the curve, 50 executive orders to flatten the country."
Yeah, and like the Carpenters, dementia Joe Biden said today, we've only just begun.
Soon it will be daylight savings time, which are the only savings we'll get on Plug's dime. With the left's trend of spend, 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 our taxes will do nothing but climb.
So true. So true. That's why we have to take our pleasures in small doses, even if it's just Andrew Cuomo going down the tubes finally. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. And this week's entry to the Go Fishing with Captain Dave Marciano contest involves the Ice Bucket Challenge, in which yours truly took a bath a few years ago. To play, go to MatthewsBrothers.com and enter today.
How can Biden talk to us about where we are? He doesn't even know where he is.
Listen, he talks to the CD all the time. Other people talk to the CDC. He talks to the CD. Talks to him all the time. He's planning on having a conversation with him tonight. That you knew the speech was going to be a doozy when that was almost the first word out of his mouth.
Fauci should forget about the mask and put a sock in it.
I agree. It's almost becoming a way to know that somebody is full of bleep or is a Democrat sock puppet when they cite Anthony Fauci as an authority. And in that group, I would include Massachusetts Governor Charlie Parker. He loves to quote Dr. Fauci.
I wonder if President Max Headroom realizes the irony of telling Americans that they're allowed to celebrate Independence Day.
That would take some self-awareness, and I think that is sorely lacking in the Biden White House.
Howie, Charlie Baker calling. You need to lay off my friend Andrew Cuomo. Maybe he put his hands in the wrong sector of the female folks working for him, but he follows the science. And like me, he's a lady killer. All ladies, that is.
Yeah, does Charlie Parker look at what's going on and say, there, but for the grace of God, ...
Let's ask Jen Psaki if illegal aliens can circle back.
Oh, how true. I couldn't agree with you more. 844-500-4242. Did Frank Sinatra do a song that seems particularly appropriate for Randy Andy Cuomo today?
That's life. That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May.
Memento Mori. When they had the victory parades, the triumphs in Rome, they used to the victorious general would be accepting the accolades of all the people and the garlands, etc. And there would be a slave assigned to stand next to him, whispering in his ear, "Memento mori," meaning you're going to die too. You're mortal. Apparently, Andrew Cuomo never had anyone whisper that in his ear until the last couple of days. Memento mori.
Lunch Bucket Joe has become Rust Bucket Joe.
His eyes, though, looked a little more engaged. I mean, it didn't look like there was anything behind them, but they appeared to be more aware. I'm not going to make any diagnoses of what he might have ingested before the speech, but I just noticed that.
So the Party of Inclusion is going to have a soiree to celebrate the passing of the COVID relief bill, but yet they didn't invite any Republicans. Am I missing something?
Yeah, bipartisan has a new meaning now in Washington. Bipartisan means partisan. It's kind of like the Equality Act, which is not equal, or the For the People Act, which is for the voter fraud people.
Or do you think Joe Biden's handlers stand behind the scenes with their fingers crossed every time he goes out there?
Yeah, I think they got their fingers crossed and their toes crossed. They take off their shoes so they can cross their toes, just hoping for the best. One of these days, it's not going to end well, or even less well than it ended this afternoon or last night.
In my hand, I hold the last envelope. Dr. Seuss, Jill Biden, Anthony Fauci. Name 3 doctors who haven't seen a patient this century. Hey-o!
Very good. Very good, Karnak the Magnificent.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
That's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can leave a message at any time between the hours of 1 and 4 Eastern Standard Time, soon to be Eastern Daylight Time. Again, when the Chump Line is open again on Monday, it'll be Eastern Daylight Time. And we may or may not play your message at this time each weekday. The Chump Line number is 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. And if you didn't hear your message, or you just want to hear more messages, you can hear more every weekday evening around 7 o'clock when we post Chopped Chumps. Chopped Chumps. Those are the messages that were left on the cutting room floor for the regular broadcast Chump Line version. Get Chopped Chumps wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcasts. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. And this week's entry to the Go Fishing with Captain Dave Marciano contest involves the Ice Bucket Challenge, in which yours truly took a bath a few years ago. To play, go to MatthewsBrothers.com and enter today.
Howie, Charlie Baker calling. You need to lay off my friend Andrew Cuomo. Maybe he put his hands in the wrong sector of the female folks working for him, but he follows the science. And like me, he's a lady killer. Old ladies, that is.
The wrong sector of the female anatomy. How Charlie Parker like. I'm Howie Carr.
Fighting the fake news, one former Democrat stenographer with a press pass at a time. It's Howie Carr.
It's a new year and time for a new you. DiStefano Hair Restoration changed my life, and they can change yours too. My production director said when he saw a recent pic of me that, "You look great, like Benjamin Button. You're getting younger." That's quite the compliment, and I owe it to DiStefano Hair Restoration and Dr. Chris Hines. Many wait years before they get the hair restoration they deserve. Stop waiting and just get it done. You won't regret it, and you'll ask yourself, why did you wait so long? You can see my before and after photo shoot on their site at hairman.com. Hairman.com. DiStefano Hair Restoration is Taylor. taking all the necessary precautions.
Yep.
Can you send me the following Cuomo cuts? cut 22, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30.
Sure.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
And Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So, of course, he's obsessed with me.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say? The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
He didn't come here to be made sport of.
Funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Howie Carr is here to stay.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier 3-pack. Just for our listeners, save $200 on the 3-pack. To order, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Will the size of your July 4th backyard barbecue be dictated by Joe Biden?
Absolutely not.
93% say no.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. There's there's a lot of big tech canceling going on. Even Andrew Cuomo now is complaining about cancel culture for obvious reasons. This is a guy who a few years back said that if you're pro-life, you weren't needed in the state of New York. If you were pro-Second Amendment, you weren't needed in the state of New York. But now he's a victim. He's a victim of cancel culture, even though he was trying to cancel other people. And he signed the legislation basically legalizing infanticide in New York a couple of years ago, too. But anyway, there is a cancel culture going on. They had hearings today about it at the in Congress. And Glenn Greenwald was there, and he was at The Intercept, and he got run out of The Intercept because he was trying to be an honest journalist rather than a baying jackal for the Democrat Party. And so he's now at a place called Substack. And Substack is where all these formerly basically liberal journalists that have been run out because they're trying to point out that the Democrat Party has lost its collective mind and has become a totalitarian bludgeon that's being used against the American people. So it's Glenn Grunwald is there from The Intercept. He's a gay guy who lives in Brazil. See, not a real Trumpian type figure. Barry Weiss, who got run out of the New York Times because she's pro-Israel. And again, she's bisexual. She's not exactly a Trumpian figure herself. Matt Taibbi, formerly of the Rolling Stone. His father, I knew him back in the day at Channel 7. He was a Boston news guy, but he's an honest broker of news. Andrew Sullivan, not really my cup of tea, used to work for New York Magazine. He's there. So these are people who are iconoclasts, and they're still trying to do real journalism. So, Taylor, would you care to guess what's going on with Substack right now?
Are they going out of business?
They're trying to put them out of business. All these quote unquote journalists are saying that Substack is irresponsible for having all these people on there who don't worship Joe Biden and Dr. Fauci, and don't think the Equality Act is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So Glenn Greenwald, you've seen him on Tucker before, I'm sure. But he was there today, and he was talking about how big media is, the networks, the New York Times, the Washington Post. They're not defending these journalists, these people that are, these are clarions of truth. If they were on the left, that's what they'd be calling them. But they just want to silence them now. This is Glenn Greenwald, Cut 42.
Big media, the largest media corporations in the United States, are not opposed to the censorious behavior of big tech. Quite the contrary, they're the ones who have agitated for it most aggressively. If you ask people in Silicon Valley, they will tell you they would, all other things being equal, prefer to be out of the business of content moderation and have been pressured.
They've been pressured by the left wing to silence people like Glenn Greenwald, and he wrote a great story about what they're doing, about all these people that have these great pedigrees in journalism are saying they ought to shut down Substack. Who does this Barry Weiss or Glenn Greenwald or Matt Taibbi think they are, speaking out against Democrats? And then this is Clay Travis, Cut 41 at the same hearing.
Just hit it. I mean, think about how crazy it is that all of the tech companies in concert, whether you agree or disagree, and I come to this from a completely nonpartisan issue, whether you agree or disagree with what the president of the United States at the time, Donald Trump, was doing on social media, everyone out there should be terrified of how quickly everyone shut him down.
Yeah, they did. And now he's been reduced to sending out emails. There's nothing wrong with an email, but it lacks the immediacy of a tweet, right? He can't respond instantaneously to Joe Biden's lies last night. And that's the way big tech wants it. It has nothing to do with truth. Joe Biden was the one who was lying last night, and there was no. He's not. There's not a big warning on YouTube today saying this speech contains multiple provable falsehoods. No, it's okay. It's okay because Joe Biden was doing it, and he's on team lockdown. He's on team let's kiss and make up with Red China. We'll be right back with Police Blotter Facts Friday. I'm Howie Carr. If you're thinking about a new RV this year, I've got 2 words of advice for you. Buy early. This is Howie Carr. With the popularity of camping growing and manufacturers' constraints, the earlier you shop, the better. Our friends at Cold Springs RV are ready for you. They have an indoor heated showroom and heated units outside for winter browsing. They are also ready to sell your current RV on consignment. Learn more at coldspringsrv.com or visit Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire.
Howie, have you ever heard the expression, if there's a nip in the air, the Irish will drink it?
No, but that does sound reasonable considering my Irish heritage.
Well, Howie, I have a big announcement. After 100 years, McConnell's Irish whiskey is returning to the U.S. Having left because of Prohibition, McConnell's is making its comeback for a new generation of whiskey enthusiasts.
I'll drink to that.
McConnell's Irish whiskey is the comeback spirit. When you take your first sip, you'll know some things are just worth the wait. Sláinte.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Thanks.
Your teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking. Well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts. I get in trouble with some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap. Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend, I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a wonderful Come on, give me a break, man.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. Let's see. Cuomo's 30 new accusers. This is the headline in the Daily Mail. It sums up the story pretty good in New York Magazine. Ex-staffers say he forced them onto antidepressants. Black speechwriter accuses him of racism, and one says he kissed her in front of her fiancé. The black speechwriter was a poet, and he said his father died, and he said his father loved poetry, so he wanted a poet on his staff of speechwriters. So he never used any of her. He used one speech out of 30 that she wrote, but she was there in the office, so he could always point her out when somebody walked in. That was her analysis of the situation. We'll get back to more of this when we come back. 844-500-4242.
Hello, young lover, whoever you are. I am Pepe Le Pew.
As multiple texters have been noting today, Pepe Le Pew gets kicked to the curb, and Andrew Cuomo and Joe Biden just go on their merry way. Where's the justice there? Where's the justice? All right, it's that time of the week. It's the third hour of the show, the bottom of the hour. That means it's time for Police Blotter Facts Friday.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
All week long, we ask you to send in your funny stories about the police department and their arrests or their stops or their actions, as long as they're funny. They could come from your local newspaper's police blotter column or the police log column. Most papers have, or smaller papers have them, written by the local police department or supplied to the sheet by them, or it could be a standalone story. We ask you to send these funny stories to grace@howiecarrshow.com, grace@howiecarrshow.com, or you can still fax them to us at 857-284-8864, 857-284-8864. At this time, every Friday evening, we read the funniest ones of the week, in our opinion. And
Let's go while we're young.
And the two best ones, get a prize. What do they get this week, Grace?
They'll get a copy of Kennedy Babylon 2.
Yes.
Actually, Howie, do you mention Andrew Cuomo in any of the Kennedy Babylons?
I mentioned Kerry Kennedy, his ex-wife, in Kennedy Babylon 2. I'm going to write a column. I thought so. I'm going to write a column this week about how do the Kennedy women find these guys? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Andrew Cuomo, Steve Smith. Steve Smith was the fixer for the family. He's the one who got the lawyer for Ted Kennedy after Chappaquiddick. He paid the money to Pam Kelly after Joe Kennedy crippled her. He married Jean Kennedy Smith and used her as a light punching bag for many years, sadly.
Well, I thought it was Kennedy Babylon 2, so that is the prize this week in honor of the crumbling of Andrew Cuomo. Okay, let's start with the runners-up. They do not win a prize. Burglar caught over bite from German sausage. This is out of Berlin.
Bite from German sausage?
Yes. German police say they have solved a 9-year-old...
You sure it wasn't a German shepherd by the name of Major or Champ?
German police say they have solved a 9-year-old burglary after DNA found a half-eaten piece of sausage matched that of a man detained in France over an unrelated crime.
Wait a second. A really bored police department.
That's what I'm saying. Crime must be way down in Deutschland if they have time. A 9-year-old burglary was solved?
Well, it's in France, right?
No, this is Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Police in the western town of Schwelm said Thursday that the sausage belonged to the victim, and the suspect, a 30-year-old Albanian citizen, appeared to have helped himself to a bite during the March 2012 break-in. It wasn't clear what type of sausage.
It was a bratwurst.
They're saying known in Germany as Wurst. The burglar had nibbled The police said it was of a hard variety. All right, now Howie sent me a bunch of police blotters from Wellesley, which is making me think he misses his hometown. And so I believe I will read
Those
this one.
were some pretty good ones I sent you too, Grace, weren't they?
Yes, this one happened on February 26th at 5 o'clock at night. The reporting party stated that the male party was making obscure gestures at him while stopped at a red light on Worcester Street near Route 128.
Obscure or obscene?
Obscene, I'm sorry.
Grace, did you go back to the Whiskey Priest? Have you been at the Whiskey Priest for the last 2 hours?
I haven't. I've been accused of that before. I have not. My eyesight's
speaking
getting
sign
bad.
language in Bidenese. I don't know what he's saying.
Okay,
and
so
by the
they
way,
stopped at
Worcester
the light.
Street is also known as Route 9.
Yes. And then when they stopped,
For those that are following along in their maps.
and they pulled up next to him, and that's when the male party threw a hot cup of coffee into the vehicle.
Oh.
They were driving, and his defense was, well, he was texting, so I felt like I had to, or something like that.
So he took the law and his cup of coffee into his own hands and tossed it on the guy.
Exactly. Crystal ball causes house fire near Wisconsin Dells. A crystal ball didn't.
Who could have seen this one?
Wait, Grace, I hope you got another Wellesley one. There's a better.
I do. I'm just spreading them out a little bit.
Okay.
This happened Monday at a home near Wisconsin Dells. The Dalton Fire Department says a crystal ball was sitting near a window, and when the sun hit, it set the couch on fire. So this has happened to me before, Howie, with my car, where like if a mirror or a glass hits the sunlight or the sun hits it, it can burn through. But this set the entire couch on fire. Kind of crazy.
It was written in the stars that it was going to happen.
This is an update. Villager released after 2 days in jail after battle over cats. A 76-year-old villager.
Over what?
Over cats.
Cats?
Yes.
And so a villager. Now, there are very few villagers in the United States of America. What country is this?
Oh, no, Howie. This is like the Villages.
Oh, the Villages in Florida, you mean? Okay,
Yeah,
I got it. I'm sorry.
From the Villages News. A 76-year-old villager has been released from jail after his arrest earlier this week after a battle with a woman over their cats. Now, the guy's name is George Redford Tester, and he put his hands on the woman's neck to strangle her and used a pillow to prevent her from breathing. She said she had been seated on the couch.
He said he just wanted to have his picture taken with her.
She said she had been seated on the couch when she and Tester began arguing over their cats. She said she had called the cats jerks, but said Tester misheard her and thought she called him a jerk. The Fresno, California native grabbed a small round pillow from the couch and placed it over her face.
What was the cat's name?
The cat's name was Sprinkles. About a half hour later, the cats knocked over their water dish. The woman attempted to clean it up when Tester came up behind her again and attempted to strangle her. She was able to free herself from his grip. When the deputies arrived, he confirmed that when the woman called the cats jerks, he thought she was referring to him.
So there were multiple cats. What was the other cat's name?
Milo and Sprinkles.
Milo,
See, that would have been the outcome in my house if my wife thought I did call the cat a jerk.
You would have had the pillow
choked
to the
me,
face.
Yes, she would have put the pillow over my head. Yeah.
The cats seem to be a real issue for these two. Psych evaluation. This is another follow-up. Psych evaluation for accused stuffed doll assailant. A judge today ordered a psychological evaluation to help determine the competency of a Florida man charged with having sexual contact with a pair of large stuffed animals at a Target store. Remember this? This was the snowman. He tried to make love to a snowman in the Target.
The snowman, by the way, has come out and accused Andrew Cuomo of touching him inappropriately.
Howie. Okay, next one. Okay, now this is Howie's other favorite one from Wellesley. On March 1st, 2021, the officer was dispatched to the area, Howie, same area, Worcester Street.
I know. It's a dangerous curve in the road.
A lot of things are getting tossed in this area. Both vehicles involved were stopped. One was operating a Ford pickup truck, and he was traveling. Now, he alleges that the Nissan was traveling slowly in the left-hand travel lane, and when he moved into
There's
the
a
right,
lot of that going around in that area. That's one of the things that makes it so treacherous.
When he moved into the right travel lane to pass the vehicle, the driver made a profane gesture. I'm not sure if it was obscene or obscure, but it was profane.
We all know what it was, Grace.
Or was it propane?
So he threw a paper bag with an egg sandwich in the vehicle in retaliation. So, Howie, I have a question. What's going on in Swellesley that these people don't care about either throwing their egg sandwiches or their coffees? I mean, I don't want to waste my coffee on somebody else's car.
I think you've answered your own question.
It's Swellesley. They can afford to toss the egg sandwiches while the rest of us can't.
I don't understand. I have never tossed an egg sandwich or a coffee at anybody on Route 9.
Oh, you're such a good person, Howie. You really should give yourself
I'm
a pat on
hungry
the
and
back.
thirsty.
Florida man pulls out dank gummies instead of ID after nearly hitting gas pump.
Dank gummies. This is a good story, though.
A Florida man who nearly hit a gas pump pulled out a package of dank gummies instead of his driver's license. So one guy saw him near the gas pump in Naples, and he saw that he appeared to be under the influence. This guy's name is Demisio Lopez. And
Imagine that.
He saw the deputy and immediately asked for help calling AAA because his car wouldn't start, even though the keys were not in the ignition at the time. The deputy
That could be a problem. Even in his homeland, that could be a problem.
The deputy then asked Lopez for his driver's license, so he started rifling through his pockets again, and this time pulled out a small green package labeled dank gummies with cannabis infused written on it as well. He asked him what it was. He claimed it was normal
Can you buy that
candy.
stuff in New Bedford, Taylor? Dank gummies?
Probably. Probably a few places where you can buy dank
Yeah.
gummies.
Deputy said Lopez also had a package of medicated nerd ropes that contained 400.
Oh, there's
and
nothing better than a medicated nerd rope.
I do love a regular nerd rope, though.
But we can't have menthol cigarettes and we can't have flavored tobacco.
Now, this is a crazy
Medicated
story.
nerd ropes are fine, though.
You know what? I'm guessing that the tax markup on medicated nerd ropes is even higher than it is on a pack of Newports.
All right, now this is a crazy story. I'll kill you if you don't buy me beer. Man pulls gun on 3 people, gives $20. Salt Lake City, a man is facing a series of charges after police say he pulled a gun on 3 people inside of a truck, demanding that they buy him beer, saying he will kill them if they don't. But this is my favorite part. So the guy's name is Guillermo Meza. And
Did he test positive when he was in Brownsville, Texas, or negative for COVID-19?
You know what the craziest part is?
Is his middle name Cerveza?
Meza then pointed the gun at the other 2 people before handing the driver a $20 bill to pay for the beer. The victims, the guys who were being held up, they took the money, drove off, and then called the police.
Did he at least ask nicely first?
Police said
that's the kind of illegal aliens we need in this country who are going to be giving us $20 bills.
Police said when asked if he was a legal United States citizen, Meza replied, no.
That's a shocker.
Amsterdam man forced way into Mayfield home with imitation gun, stole resident's dog.
No.
I know. It's a sad
What was the
story.
dog's name?
Van der Pop.
That's not a very good name for a dog, Grace.
Sorry, I'm trying to get creative. James E. Novak of Route 30 was arrested and charged with 1 count each of second-degree burglary. The invasion happened February 24th. Novak is accused of forcing his way in and then menacing the resident with what officials described as an imitation BB pistol. After taking the dog, he left.
An imitation BB pistol? So it was a fake of a fake?
Yeah.
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
And no word on the status of the dog.
You see, this is the thing, Grace. Isn't it really an injustice that this beautiful, wonderful, talented dog was stolen and it's called a burglary rather than a kidnapping?
Yeah, dog napping.
That
I agree.
That dog was a member of the family.
Yeah, I know.
And it's being treated as a mere piece of property.
I totally agree. Guys, Police Blotter Facts Friday is brought to you by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. Thank you to Piantadosi Bread for sponsoring this fan favorite of a segment. When we get back, Howie, I have 2 winners, and I also have 1 more I'm going to try to squeeze in as a runner-up.
All right. We'll be right back. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
Follow Howie on Twitter @Howie Carr Show. You won't regret it.
Did you already blow it on your New Year's resolution? Didn't stick to that trendy new diet plan? Stop the roller coaster and get the weight off for good. People still say to me, wow, Howie, you look really great with all that weight off. But it's a lot more than looking better. It really is about feeling better, too. For me, it's about not having to wear a CPAP mask in order to sleep through the night. I'm able to go on bike rides every day. Sometimes I go on 2 or 3. I have much lower blood pressure, a lot more energy. I still eat what I want to eat, but unlike before the sleeve, now I don't overeat. Get the weight off for good. Call Newton Wellesley Weight Loss Center. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. Don't procrastinate any longer. Whatever your age, whatever your gender, do it. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend, I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Come on, give me a break, man.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I could be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting.
Yes.
I'm just looking at Ron DeSantis' response to Biden address. We're not going to let him lock down Florida. Can you get that quote, that cut?
Sure.
Thanks. Oh, will you bring me Kennedy Babylon 1? I don't want to forget it tonight when I leave.
Oh, Joe Biden, you might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac.
He's not alive. You say he lives on.
Not alive. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States, the Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Every time you turn around, expect to see me. There's one time you'll turn around and I'll be there.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Now it's time for the winners and maybe a runner-up or two on Police Blotter Facts Friday. Who's Police Blotter Facts Friday brought to us by, Grace?
Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. Okay, this is a quick runner-up. Woman 39 successfully smuggled loaded firearm hidden in her body into Missouri jail. She had a small revolver hidden in a body
I hope
cavity.
it was small.
And they didn't catch it during a strip search and 2 pat-downs. Loaded with 5 rounds, and it was discovered a few days ago.
Good
okay,
Lord.
That's a really quick one, but I want to get to the winners here. Man stole 400-pound playground slide for his child's bunk bed. Oh, he's laughing back there.
McKay is laughing. McKay is laughing.
A Washington man has been busted for allegedly stealing a 400-pound slide from a local playground and mounting it on his kid's bunk bed. Now, he was tricky because it's a huge slide. He pilfered it back in December from a city park, but he sawed off the top and painted it from green to blue. And then he mounted it on the side of the bunk bed. They were in there looking for there's a case of a string of catalytic.
Wouldn't it have been easier all the way around just to go to some store and buy a plastic version of said slide?
Yeah, but this guy seems like an overachiever. They were looking for catalytic converter thefts. And so they were investigating this guy already, and that's when they saw the 400-pound slide. The picture is pretty incredible. The cop's just sitting on it. Okay, and now for our final winner. Florida woman attacks her roommate for playing the same song over and over again. A 53-year-old Florida woman named Mary Ann has lived with her cousin in Clearwater for the last 5 years. And earlier this week, she lost it when the cousin wouldn't stop blasting the same song over and over again on a loop. It happened around 12:15 in the morning on Tuesday, and the song she
was alcohol involved?
No, but once you hear why, I mean, if someone's playing the same song, I don't think alcohol needs to be involved.
But it was 12:15 a.m. That's what I mean. I mean, that increases the chances dramatically, doesn't it, that there was alcohol involved?
That's probably true. The song the cousin freaked out over was Chic's 1978 disco hit, Le Freak.
This is why I suggest buying Raycons.
Mary Ann shoved her. That's actually
they could have. This whole thing could have been avoided if they had just splurged on Raycons, which are half the price of the other premium earbuds.
That's a great point. Mary Ann shoved her 64-year-old cousin into a makeshift tiki bar they'd set up, and it collapsed. Her cousin
a makeshift tiki bar. Was there a slide at the makeshift tiki bar?
She ended up with a black eye.
Oh. Thank you, Grace.
Thanks, Howie.
I'm Howie Carr.
After 167 years, we here at Matthews Brothers have been involved in figuratively millions, if not literally dozens of home renovations. And we can tell you from experience, the most commonly uttered word on a remodeling job is fudge. Not like, hey, Wilbur, be a good fella and pass me some of that delicious fudge. No, it's more like, oh, fudge, Wilbur, you just dropped the wrecking ball on the wrong house again. In order to prevent the, oh, fudge, that color combination looked a lot less ghastly in my mind than it does in real life.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
Schumer and Gillibrand have come out saying Cuomo should resign.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Where is that story? Someone tweeted that, and I don't see it anywhere. Where is it?
Claire Ferran tweeted it. She is with CNN.
CNN? Okay.
I'll send it to McKay.
Yeah, send it to him, please. Thanks.
I was going to talk with Tom after the show, but basically, I think the complaint, not the complaint, but the and I won't go that with Tom, but he said, it was in, and it looks like it was in, but the issue is just, I think, it was just a lot of elements to keep track of, and then for him to, do everything, plus number it, and then have it kind of up in the rundown, it got a little complicated.
Well, they finally shamed. Having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network
nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes. We're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second? Control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about where we are.
Where are we? Where are we here?
A year ago, we're hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths.
Every time he has a chance to praise the previous administration, he not only doesn't praise, he kicks them in the groin.
A sturdy groin is the linchpin of victory. Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Thematically, the most important thing out of this for me was him selling the good that he believes government can do.
Nauseating, isn't it?
And that to me is probably the biggest theme of this speech.
Well, I'm glad you're focused on the important business.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Well, I guess Andrew Cuomo can look at it this way. It's Friday night. You know, it's the slowest, most least news consumed evening of the week. Well, maybe Saturday night, but it's the beginning of the weekend. However, he's got some more bad news to confront. Chuck Schumer earlier today said that the allegations against him for fondling his young aide in the governor's mansion were nauseating. And Kirsten Gillibrand has been hiding out because, she's such a lightweight. She's the one who ran Al Franken out of the Senate. Not that he didn't deserve to be run out of the Senate when he was groping people left and right. But anyway, just moments ago, Senator Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand have released the following statement. Confronting and overcoming the COVID crisis requires sure and steady leadership. I think they buried the lead here with that. We commend the brave actions of the individuals who have come forward with serious allegations of abuse and misconduct. Due to the multiple credible sexual harassment and misconduct allegations, it is clear that Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of his governing partners and the people of New York. Governor Cuomo should resign. If indicted, I shall not resign. If indicted, I shall not resign. I don't think he's in any imminent danger of being indicted, but it looks like they're going to impeach him. It's going to be an interesting weekend, though, because I think he's still going to try to hold out. What the hell is he going to do if he's not the governor of New York? I mean, it's not like he's got a life to go back to. Is it? He doesn't even have a girlfriend right now, I don't believe. He's just living there. That's why he called a woman to, quote unquote, fix his cell phone. All right. 617, they should give New York City a new nickname, the Big Grapple. Oh, Lord. 30 on 1 is Cuomo fun. And 201 says he's waiting to hear from Bill Clinton. If Bill Clinton tells him to resign, then he'll know it's all over. But that's a good point. 201. He learned his lesson in an earlier age, and he saw everybody said that Bill Clinton had to go. Remember that? And they didn't have as many people accusing Bill Clinton, but Bill Clinton had committed a felony in the commission of his philandering when he lied in that under oath in the civil case that was brought by Paula Jones. So I guess it was worse what Bill Clinton did than what Andrew Cuomo stands accused of. But anyway, 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We'll talk more about this, and we'll also talk about the Biden speech in this hour of the show. And so you could open up the lines, 844-500-4242. So now 13 members of the congressional delegation, I assume mostly Democrats. I don't think they're even asking the Republicans. They know where the Republicans stand. The 13 members of the House delegation from New York State and the two senators, 55, I think, members of the Assembly have said they're in favor of him. They want him to resign. A majority of the state reps from Western New York, I know that's not as populous an area, but a majority of them want him gone. And the lieutenant governor is a woman named Kathy Hochul, and she used to be a congresswoman for 2 years, and then she was knocked out by Chris Collins, who was later indicted securities fraud, I believe, and he was pardoned by Donald Trump on the way out the door. And 781, Cuomo isn't just watching his governorship slipping away, he's seeing his presidential ambitions being destroyed. I think that his presidential ambitions have been gone for a while. I mean, it would be, Biden's not going to be running in 2024. He's probably not even going to be president for more than another year or so. But I don't see that he would be running against Kamala Harris for any number of reasons. And I think his ambitions, the only way he could have gotten the nomination was if Biden had a meltdown in the months leading up to the nomination, and then they would have stepped in and said when he was popular and doing those press conferences every day from Albany, then he might have been able to step in. But I think even then they would have said, well, wait a second, he's a white male heterosexual, and he wasn't in the race, and and then some people would say Bernie deserved it, and there would be I don't think it was in the cards. But now he's going to have to leave in disgrace, and again, I think he'll try to hang on, but I don't see it. I don't see it in the cards. 844-500-4242. By the way, it's we still have a few of the cheap bastard deals from Cape Gunworks in Hyannis. The basic firearms / license to carry class. This is a 4-hour class. You need to pass an LTC class before you go down to the police station to get your permit to carry, license to carry. And this is usually $125 value, and it's only $62.50 at HowieCarrShow.com. Click on store, and it's a cheap bastard deal. We've only got a few left, but we got some. If you're on the Cape or anywhere near the Cape, actually, Cape Gunworks is a great place to go. It's in Hyannis. $125 value for $62.50. And also the weather's getting warmer. Spring is coming, daylight savings time to get your car washed. And we also have Pro Clean Auto Wash gift certificates as a cheap bastard deal. $50 gift certificate for Pro Clean Auto Wash. That'll buy a lot of stuff at a car wash for $25. $25. And Pro Clean Auto Wash has car washes in Chelmsford, Devens, Franklin, Marlborough, Millis, Pepperell, Randolph, Westboro, Westford, and Worcester, Mass. So this is a good deal, and there are not many left of either the LTC license to carry classes or the car washes. But go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on store, Howie Carr, and get the cheap bastard deals. And there's a lot of other good stuff there too, including the Kennedy Babylon books, which are very entertaining, and they're appropriate for the moment, considering that Andrew Cuomo was married briefly to a member of the Kennedy family, and he was never that popular, believe it or not, with the Kennedys. They didn't like him. Even the Kennedys found him a little off-putting, and guess what? He doesn't have much of a sense of humor either. That's a shock, isn't it? He likes to make sport of other people, but he doesn't take the needle too well himself. We'll play some cuts. We'll play some cuts from him when we come back, and we'll take your calls about the end, it looks like, of Andrew Cuomo and also Joe Biden's speech last night. Have you ever wondered what makes Omaha Steaks so darn good? It's the aging process. Omaha Steaks ages their steaks at least 21 days because that's the sweet spot. It's where the magic happens. You can try those mouth-watering steaks in the Butcher's Bestsellers Grill Pack. It includes 4 of their iconic and fork-tender Butcher's Cut filet mignons, 4 ultra-juicy burgers, 4 savory pork chops, chicken breasts, a kielbasa, desserts, potatoes au gratin, seasonings. It's got everything. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Howie into the search bar for a special price on this Butcher's Bestsellers package. Plus, when you enter Howie, you'll get 4 more chicken breasts and 4 more of those delicious burgers for free. Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks and food since 1917. No one comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. And when you're at omahasteaks.com, check out their other products. They've got some great stuff like hot dogs. And if you get into the points program, you'll save even more money. Go to omahasteaks.com, type keyword Howie into the search bar, and order the Butcher's Bestseller Pack today. Don't forget, you'll get the 4 free chicken breasts and 4 burgers. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword Howie. Spring is coming. I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport of. Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you today in part by Nauset Beach Inn. Open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Take advantage of their ocean view room rate while rooms are still available. Low price available only at nausetbeachinn.com.
He's the co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, so what better time to play some of his greatest hits? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Frosty.
This is going to be a mission to save all of creation. If you want to ignore that these changes are taking place and that they're having a dramatic impact, then you are in the right place.
Do you know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock? Do you know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock, Senator?
Well, here is the thing.
You don't. How long has your family been in Massachusetts?
We are new arrivals, and
Mr. President, American history was made last night. The Boston Patriots won the Super Bowl.
When the Second Amendment was written in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, they did not have in mind that people could purchase guns indiscriminately.
The president is acting like Pontius Pilate.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists, credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry white guys. Angry white man.
Angry white old men.
These angry white men.
The angry white vote.
All these angry white people.
Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's insult.
You tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist. The credulous boomer rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb. You elitists with your geography and your maps.
and you're spelling, even though my
math and you're reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone. Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at and the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
I could still teach you a few, kid. You're just a tin-horn thug and you always will be. You haven't got the guts to be anything else.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier 3-pack. Just for our listeners, save $200 on the 3-pack. To order, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie3. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Will the size of your July 4th backyard barbecue be dictated by Joe Biden?
No.
7% say yes, it will be.
I'm going to have some delicious burgers and filet mignons from Omaha Steaks and some hot dogs and some chicken breasts and some pork chop. I'm going to have lots of good stuff. I'm going to have a big party, Taylor. I don't know if you're invited or not. I haven't decided.
What do you mean you haven't decided?
I haven't decided who's going to be there. Okay, you're invited, Taylor. You're invited to my barbecue. But before we get to Cuomo and Biden, I just want to mention one thing. We've been after Charlie Parker recently. He wants to raise the price of gasoline, the tax on a gallon of gasoline from 24 cents to as much as 62 cents to save the planet, because, the oceans will stop rising if the state of Massachusetts and Massachusetts alone raises the price of gasoline by 38 cents a gallon on top of what Joe Biden's already jacked it up with his stupid policies. But now, as if they hadn't irritated enough of the Republican primary base, do you know what they're doing now? What they're raising? They're going to raise the cost of a hunting licenses and permits from $47.70 a year to $160 a year. It's a little increase. What, 350% thereabouts? That's not exact, but it's pretty close. A fishing license for a Massachusetts resident would increase from $22.50 to $40. That's a bargain, because that only goes up 90%. The cost of licenses and permits to hunt bear, turkey, pheasant, waterfowl, small game, and deer, including archery and muzzle loading seasons, would climb from $47.70 to $160. Thank you, Charlie Parker. May I have another? I think that would be more for a Massachusetts resident to hunt in Massachusetts than it would be for a Massachusetts resident to hunt as a non-resident in New Hampshire. But it's Charlie Parker, He's a Republican, don't you know? 844-500-4242.
Hey, Howie, Reuters has snapped a picture of Andrew Cuomo. He's roaming the grounds of the governor's mansion, and he's outside talking on his cell phone, holding a beer, and there's a blanket draped over his shoulders.
You're kidding.
I wouldn't kid you.
But Taylor, you know what my follow-up question is going to be. Is he wearing a mask?
No.
He's got to go. He's not wearing a mask. Dr. Fauci has called for his resignation, and then he will be tried and thrown into prison for not wearing a mask. How dare he? How dare he? 844-500-4242. I wonder who he's talking to on the phone. Probably Bill Clinton. That's who I'd be calling if I was in that jam. He used to work for Bill Clinton. Hey, Andrew, can you send back them cigars? I got the Energizer Bunny coming over here this here weekend. You ain't going to need those cigars. Sandy, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Sandy.
Hi, Howie. How are you?
Good. My heart feels like an alligator knowing that Andrew Cuomo's going down the tubes. I don't care who replaces him,
Oh.
Sandy.
Really? Yeah, but maybe they're just railroading him. There's way too many women. I mean, I live in the state of New York, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo. But, if they're just railroading him and he's innocent, I got to side with him.
I know if he's just innocent, but Sandy, do you really think 30 women are lying?
They might be embellishing. They're not lying. They're just getting on the bandwagon. And
That's
the
true.
point is, what if we... And Letitia James, I spoke to you about this before. She should be disqualified because she wants the job.
Right.
So I don't want somebody more progressive in the state of New York to really close the lid on the rest of us.
But Sandy, I mean, this is a guy, I mentioned this earlier. This is a guy who said, if you're pro-life or you're pro-Second Amendment, you can get the hell out of the state of New York. I mean, how can you say that you want to keep that guy under any circumstances? That's pretty appalling, isn't it?
You're right. I don't agree with him on that. But do you think a progressive is going to be any different?
No, probably not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He's just so obnoxious, though. Sometimes you just want to see a guy taken down because he's so arrogant. He's so smug. His whole career has just been about, and he's so privileged too. I don't know. I guess maybe I'd feel different if I lived in the state of New York, but it just as an observer and a reader, a daily reader of the New York Post, and someone who follows the media in all of New York, I'm just glad to see him get his comeuppance after all these years. Thanks for the call, Sandy. 844-500-4242. I think the ghost of Ed Koch, the former mayor, who he perhaps slurred. There were rumors that he's the one who came up with the homophobic slogan against the gay mayor. I'm sure Ed Koch is his shade is enjoying what's going on right now. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hi, Howie. I guess now that the two senators have jumped on board, it's time for Cuomo to go. And it's kind of a sad thing if you think about it. Even though it's New York State, a lot of our federal money goes into his hands.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean,
I think they're getting. I think he's getting $12 billion directly out of this deal. $12 billion, and he immediately announced we're getting $12 billion, but a tax hike is still on the table.
Right. Yeah. And oh, by the way, Howard, we need that to raise those taxes here in Massachusetts with the hunting licenses, because we got to give them away free to all the illegal immigrants that are coming in here.
All the illegal, who aren't going to be bothering to get those license to carries that you need a license, that American citizens need a license for. You're right, John. There's going to be a lot higher expenses as all these illegal aliens come over here to live free in America. Everything free in America. Thanks for the call, John. 844-500-4242. Well, we're gonna come back and we're gonna take some more of your calls on Andrew Cuomo. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. Randy, Andy, it tolls for thee. And Biden's performances, and we'll play some cuts from the Foner press conference today. I'm Howie Carr.
As this year of COVID draws to a close, it's time to make sure your portfolio is ready for whatever happens next. Kevin Frisbee and the team at Frisbee & Associates are ready to help you.
So where's that picture? I want to look at the picture.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks. So she's going to send me the picture. I wonder if he feels more like Macbeth or King Lear.
So I guess it's an upscale water he's carrying around, not a beer.
It's an upscale water.
It's a designer water.
I hope it's from New York State, Saratoga Springs or somewhere like that.
It is Saratoga, yes. All right, I just emailed it to you.
Okay.
Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I can be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings.
It's a weird picture.
Congresswoman Harris,
the phone in his
Senator,
right hand.
did I say Senator Harris? He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved.
Notice how he wears his watch on his right hand? Did you notice how he wears his watch on his right hand too?
Is he a lefty? Do we know if he's a lefty?
I don't know.
Let's check that out.
Including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard, available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Reuters has just posted a very strange photograph of the embattled governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. He's got a blanket, a fringed blanket, looks like a throw blanket that you'd have on a couch. And he's got it wrapped around his shoulders as he's walking on, I guess, on the grounds of the governor's mansion. And he's got a phone, a cell phone. He's talking, and he's got the phone in his right hand. I don't know if he's left-handed. I just was trying to find out. I can't figure it out on the internet if he's left-handed. But most right-handers would have the phone in their left hand, right? Because you put the phone in your left hand and you take notes with your right hand. But on the other hand, he's an executive, so maybe he's always got some woman in high heels and who's 25 years old, and he's great groping her while she's taking the notes from the phone call. But this is a very weird picture here. I can't figure out who he looks like. At first I thought, is he more like a Shakespearean character, or is he King Lear or Macbeth? Those he those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. That's very Cuomo-like right now. That's the description of Macbeth. A man more sinned against than sinning. That's what they said about Lear. I think it's more Macbeth then. But the blanket, though, Taylor, you know what I'm getting from that? I'm getting Vincent the Chin Gigante vibes.
That's what some other people have said online too. You're not the first.
He was the mafia boss, and when he got indicted, he was pretty old. He stopped shaving, and he lived in Greenwich Village, and he started going out on the street in his bathrobe and his slippers, just walking around. I mean, yeah, I'm getting a chin. Vincent the Chin didn't do Vincent the Chin much good though. He got packed off to Club Fed. 339, does Cuomo think he's Superman with that cape? Another person suggests, is he Linus with the blanket and from the Peanuts cartoons? 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Play cut 30.
There is still a question of the truth. I did not do what has been alleged, period.
But these are serious allegations, Governor, serious allegations, cut 24.
Serious allegations should be weighed seriously, right? That's why they are called serious.
May we quote you on that, Governor Chin. Maureen, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Maureen.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I live on Cape Cod, but I'm from North Jersey, and all my family is down in New York. And I go down there to visit my elderly mother regularly, and every visit I do a poll. I just ask people randomly, what do you think of, as I call him, Cuomo the Crumb? And the opinions of him, even by the staunch Democrats, it's tanking literally like every 2 weeks. He's going to be taken away one way or another by his own party.
Yeah.
And, I just, and as de Blasio, I mean, he's ready to step right in.
Right.
And his wife. Now, I was reading, and you have probably know more about this. His wife has made it, came out and said that, because they hate the police, that private citizens can learn how to do their job.
Right.
The city is in ruins. It's in ruin. It's gone. It's not safe. It's horrible for police and fire to work down there. Many of my relatives have been in the police force or the fire department, and it just rots right now. And she's saying, she has the nerve to say, we can all learn. You can learn how to do it. Pat people on the head and learn how to do it. They are the most irresponsible, frickin' frack that I've ever seen in my life. And
I agree, Maureen. And I was stunned. Yeah. I was stunned to read in the New York Post earlier this week. I mean, he's not saying anything publicly, but he's asking people, do you think I could be elected governor since Cuomo's gut shot? I can't imagine it, though. Can you?
No, I can't. I can't. And people who at one time, now, most of my family are like, I'm Republican and I'm in the minority. And at one time, people really thought that, Cuomo the Crumb was going to follow in his father's footsteps. And I think that's what people were hoping. And, obviously he didn't. And now he's just wrapping himself in a blanket, practicing for his own demise, I suppose. But,
and he's got a long neck bottle. And we first thought it was some kind of a beer, but apparently it's some, fancy designer water, like from Saratoga Springs or something like that. Thank you, Maureen. Taylor, can we tweet that picture out? Can you get a picture? People want to see that picture.
Sure, and I'm looking at pictures of him signing bills. It appears he is right-handed.
He is okay. So that's
never trust a right-handed person who wears their watch on their right hand as well.
No,
that's what I've always said.
I think it's kind of, or I really do think it's kind of strange that he has the phone in his right hand, Taylor. When I was about 16, when I first started using the phone a lot, I just said, well, I have to write what I hear, so I'm going to put it on my left hand. And most right-handers I know have it in there. Always take the phone in their left hand, right? Isn't that correct?
I guess I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm holding the phone up to my head and I need to take notes, I'm holding it with my left hand.
If you got a call that there was a guy walking around in the yard in late winter with a bottle in his hand, a long neck bottle in his hand and a blanket wrapped around him, I think you would have probable cause to take said citizen into PC, protective custody, wouldn't you? He doesn't look good. Mike from Maine, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Howie. I was just wondering, so today Jim Psaki was talking about Andrew Cuomo's, and he said she said all women should be believed. So doesn't that open up the window for Tara Reid?
Yeah, it does. I mean, don't you think that's why they've been speaking of this case so tepidly? They're not exactly on board with getting rid of the guy, and I think that's why, because they don't want Tara Reid to be the next one to come out of the Let's play cut 17. We played it earlier. We'll play it again. Cut 17 on Jen Psaki on whether Cuomo should resign.
My first question is simply this: does the president believe the governor should resign?
The president believes that every woman who's come forward, there have now been 6, I believe, who have come forward, deserves to have her voice heard, should be treated with respect, and should be able to tell her story. There also is an independent investigation that is ongoing, of course, in the state with subpoena power overseen by the Attorney General, and he certainly supports that moving forward. We, of course, have watched the news of a number of lawmakers call for that, but I don't have any additional announcements from here.
Jen, don't forget the U.S. attorney in Brooklyn and the nursing home investigation. Don't forget the Albany police investigation of the fondling incident from last December. Don't forget the Assembly Judiciary Committee investigation about impeachment. 844-500-4242, 201. Howie, do you think Andy Cuomo is ready for the neck brace ploy? He's an in-law, or was an in-law, of the Kennedy family, and the neck brace has been used, maybe not to the best effect, but it's been attempted by both his ex-wife's uncle, Ted Kennedy, after Chappaquiddick, and by his ex-wife's cousin, Patches Kennedy. They both used the neck brace. Maybe it's time for the Cuomos to take the Kennedy to get the Kennedy neck brace out of mothballs. 844-500-4242. Mike, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Howie. Nice to hear from you. I wanted to find out what the young state trooper on Andrew Cuomo's security detail who started dating Cuomo's daughter, and then he got transferred upstate. I wonder what he's thinking about all this today. Because the media came out with all these fawning stories about what a concerned parent he was, and he was looking out for his daughter's best interest, and this guy didn't fit his standards and all that. And he shipped upstate. He got shipped
all the way up to the Canadian border. I mean, he got shipped up hours and hours from Albany. Yeah, you're right. Though, Mike, he's still got to, I think he's still dating the daughter. So what that state trooper is thinking and what he's saying to the daughter, it's got to be two very different things, doesn't it, Mike?
Absolutely. You got to at least pretend like you still like your future father-in-law.
Yeah. Oh, he, I know he did a really rotten thing to me, whatever her name is, Michaela, but he's really a good guy. I know no one deserves to be going through. I was so sad when I saw that picture of him stumbling and mumbling through the garden at the executive mansion like he's Vincent the Chin Gigante. Thanks for the call, Mike. 844-500-4242. Rocky, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rocky.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. Hey, you know what? I think that thing Cuomo was wearing, I think it was one of Hillary's moo-moos. But anyway, what I wanted to ask you was, why hasn't Biden been arrested? He's bringing disease into our country while they've destroyed hundreds of thousands of families. How does that work?
Everything he's done has been a total disaster, but I don't see how you can arrest him for that. I mean, he's the president. The president never gets arrested for doing something disastrously wrong. I mean, the nearest punishment that can be delivered to him is by turning over the control of the Senate and the House to the Republican Party. And unfortunately, that's like more than a year and a half away. So, I mean, the damage they can do is just incalculable. It's horrible, and it is. What they're doing is they're destabilizing the entire country, not just with the open borders, but destroying energy independence. They're destroying the gig economy. That this PRO Act, which we haven't even talked very much about. It was a disaster in California. It didn't work in California, and now they've moved it nationally. So if it can't work in California, how's it going to work nationally? And the Equality Act, they're trying to make sure there's never another fair election in the United States. It's just a disaster. We just got to try to ride this out. This is a nightmare. 844-500-4242. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen now more than ever. And whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of a distraction, unplugging yourself is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes and still get the content I'm itching for, I put in my Raycon wireless earbuds and listen to something great. This is really a good thing. You don't have to, we just had the police blotter facts Friday about the two relatives in Florida getting into a big beef because one of them was playing the same stupid song over and over again. If only they had both had Raycon wireless earbuds, if only one of the cousins had Raycon wireless earbuds, they wouldn't have been in police blotter facts Friday. You don't want to bother someone you work with or who you live with music that they don't like or podcasts that they don't like. Go to raycon.com/Howie and get your own set of Raycon wireless earbuds.
My favorite thing about the earbuds, Howie, is there are no wires. You're not tangled up in anything. You're not going to get snagged while you're doing yard work or doing the dishes or whatever you might be doing. You're completely mobile and you can do anything you want. They're not going to fall out of your head, and they sound terrific.
Yeah. Cuomo needed some this afternoon. He'd look like much less of a fool than he does.
He could have used either hand to drink that Saratoga water.
That's right. That's right. He wishes he had some Raycon wireless earbuds. Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. And it doesn't look lame with the wires coming out of your ear. And with enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime, you can unplug for a while. Raycons come in a variety of stylish colorways with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. The best part, Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone, and wireless earbuds start at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What are you, the first mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright and clean?
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day.
My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black,
now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty. But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. You cannot measure the health of our children.
If the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children,
The quality of our education.
the quality of their education,
The joy of their play.
for the joy of their play.
come on, man.
Got hate mail?
You bloated idiot! You stupid fat you!
Send it to Grace at HowieCarShow.com.
I just thought of another Shakespearean tragedy that maybe Andrew Cuomo sees himself as reprising the title role. Julius Caesar. Et tu, Chucky. Et tu, Kirsten. And of course, when did Julius Caesar go to the Senate?
March 15th.
The Ides of March. What is Monday, Taylor?
That would be March 15th.
That would be the Ides of March. Yes. Do you think he can make it to the Ides of March? I think he'll last through the weekend.
Yeah, it'll last through the weekend.
Yeah. The Ides of March could be an interesting day for him. That would be rather appropriate, wouldn't it? If he went out et tu. Who would he say et tu though? To? Who would be the one who really killed him? Et tu, Lindsay, the first one who stepped forward? Nah, I don't know who it would be. There's 30 of them to choose from. Freddie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Freddie.
Howie, thanks for your call. Hey, I appreciate you taking this call. I want to say that my money is in there and it's pending. And the last time it was pending, I didn't get it till Wednesday. So it's Friday. We're looking at probably Wednesday.
So you got your money?
No excuse for it.
You got your money is what you're
I didn't get it.
But it's
pending.
But it's there. It's on the.
It ain't in there, Howard. I can't get it. I can't access it. It says it's pending.
But does it
meaning
say
I can't get it?
But does it say there's been a $1,400 deposit? It's just pending. Is that what it says?
It says my wife and I got $2,800,
Wow.
and it says pending. And when I called the bank the last time this went around on Monday morning, they told me, well, it's pending. And I said, so explain to me. I'm a very good customer at this bank for over 50 years. So
they couldn't explain it to me except to say that someone told us that this isn't going to fly till Wednesday. And I got my money on a Wednesday after it was posted on a Friday.
So you're going to get the money, Freddie?
No, that's not the point. The point is they told me, oh, you're going to have your money this weekend. That's BS. When I get paid at work, I get paid on that day. When they gave me the check, I cashed the check. So it's in my account, but it's not in my account. So I didn't get.
But see, you work.
If you don't feel like waiting, Freddie, you can always wire it to me.
I think you're missing.
Yeah, you know, in the old days, you could go to. In the old days, you could go to the loan shark in your neighborhood and get an advance on it, Freddie.
I would agree. You know, I love your show once again, but when I get paid, I run a small business on the side here, and when I get paid, I get paid. You know, I don't have to wait till Wednesday after I do the job on Friday. I get paid on Friday.
A lot of people aren't feeling too sorry for you, Freddie. $2,800, you're going to have it on Wednesday. You can go. What are you going to use the money for?
I'll probably go have a nice meal somewhere as soon as Charlie Baker opens it up, but I guess I have to wait till the 4th of July.
No, if this is like the other holidays, Charlie Parker will wait until the 5th of July to open it up, so that all the beachfront properties and the clam shacks and everybody down on the Cape can't have a big day on Independence Day. Thanks for the call, Freddie. I appreciate it. 619 says, don't forget Richard III. I don't see him as a Richard III guy. He's a horse, my kingdom for a horse. Only what does he need to save his kingdom? He doesn't need a horse, does he? All right. We got a lot to think about. My advice is same with the texter. Get the neck brace. Get the neck brace. I'm Howie Carr.